Boss, after hearing her boss sigh for the umpteenth time, a short-haired girl in a staff uniform couldn't help but put down her broom. What's going on? You've been sighing a lot since you came back. Ziou. Fang Liming's voice was full of melancholy. Our Dawn Foster store is no longer the best place for the washing and protection service in Kingju City. That Starfare foster care shop. Ziou couldn't help but roll her eyes. Isn't it just riding the popularity of the challenge match in advertising? Once things settle down, customers will naturally choose our shop again. But the boss's washing and protection technique is really good. Fang Liming lightly tapped the bright group, which quickly retracted its body and became a fast-moving sphere. He held the bright group in one hand and passed it to Ziou. Take a look. This is the result of his washing and protection service. Ziou blinked. So you went to the Starfare foster care shop when you went out. Boss, you are so careful even though you have such good washing and protection skills. Ziou giggled, took the bright group carefully and started examining it. Let me see. The smile on her face gradually vanished. Her expression became serious. After she looked over the bright group up and down, Ziou took out a flashlight, turned on the strong light and examined the bright group more carefully. Is this really the result of that boss's washing and protection? After a while, she looked at Fang Liming with disbelief. Because she had been working in the foster shop for a long time, although Ziou's washing and protection skills weren't great, her discernment was quite good. She could indeed judge the washing and protection state of the bright group at this moment. That's why she was so astonished. Correct, now you understand that Starfare foster care shop is not just about advertising. Fang Liming rested his head on his hand and became melancholic again. Maybe we just didn't notice before, but now they've come out of nowhere, we have competition. That guy named Suran is so young, Ziou murmured. Maybe he's just exceptionally good at washing and protection of the bright group. Hearing Ziou's words, Fang Liming's eyes lit up slightly. However, thinking about the exaggerated washing and protection environment of the Starfare foster care shop, he soon became melancholic again. I don't think so. Mr. Fang, are you there? Outside the Dawn Foster store, a muscular man bearing a scar on his face hollered Fang Liming's name and rushed in. This man's face with a scar was quite intimidating. He marched like a dragon and a tiger to Fang Liming's side. Do you know a shop called Starfare Foster Care Shop? Old Wang Yu. Fang Liming's face showed some surprise. Could it be that your business at the Beast King Foster Shop is also being affected? Correct, that's precisely it. Wang Zubin's face was fraught with annoyance. This shop just sprung up out of nowhere. Recently, we've been losing customers one after another who didn't renew their fosters. I asked around and found out they didn't need the foster service, but they instead moved to the Starfare Foster Care Shop. This is really upsetting. Wang Zubin couldn't help but vent his frustration by knocking at the counter with his knuckles. Their Beast King Foster Shop was the most professional foster shop in the entire Kingju City. There were only cases where customers switched their choices from other shops to their shop, never vice versa. Although there are so far only a few such occurrences, and the impact of this on our business is limited, it would indeed harm the reputation of our shop. Hence, we cannot just sit by. After realizing the gravity of the situation, Wang Zubin did some research on the Starfare foster care shop and immediately went to find Fang Liming. So their foster services are good too. Hearing Wang Zubin's story, a look of surprise crossed Fang Liming's face. Since he was short on time, he left right after seeing Su Ran washing and protecting the bright group. He didn't get to investigate the foster services much. What do you mean by also? Wang Zubin gave Fang Liming a glance. You've been to the Starfare foster care shop before. Yes, Fang Liming nodded earnestly. The shop's boss is indeed young, but he is more professional in washing and protection than me. Now it seems, maybe their foster service is also better than that of your Beast King foster shop. That's impossible. Without a second thought, Wang Zubin waved his hand dismissively. I paid a high salary to hire a sparring trainer and a nutritionist from a second-level town to improve our foster services. What can that kid possibly have to compete? That guy loves to advertise. I'd say those customers must have been duped by him, Wang Zubin declared confidently. Fang Liming's expression seemed strange. Reflecting on the technology used by the Starfare foster care shop, he could basically confirm that their fostering services were not ordinary, surpassing the Beast King foster shop with ease. After a moment's hesitation, considering Wang Zubin and he were old friends, He decided to inform him about what he had witnessed at the Starfare foster care shop. You mean, they even used a space-expanding technology in their washing and protection area? Upon hearing Fang Liming's narration, Wang Zubin's expression started to show signs of consternation. He scratched his head and said, "It looks like this shop is indeed not ordinary. However, no matter how extraordinary they are, since they are running a foster store, they should compete according to our industry rules." Wang Zubin grunted. "We certainly can't just watch and do nothing, allowing them to steal away all our customers, can we?" "What do you mean?" Fang Liming understood Wang Zubin's implications and slightly frowned, looking at him. "I remembered that the Qingzhou City Young Beast Master Beauty Contest is coming up soon." Wang Zubin snorted. "Starfare Foster Care Shop can advertise, so can we." "That's a good idea." Fang Liming nodded in approval. "I have a client who mentioned this beauty contest to me a couple of days ago. She's determined to win and wants me to provide a washing and protection service for her pet beast on the day of the beauty contest. If we negotiate with her a bit, she might be willing to do some advertising for our Dawn Foster store if she wins. We also have a beast master of pretty strong prowess attending this beauty contest in our Beast King Foster shop." Wang Zubin gave a sly smile. "But the beauty contest doesn't just judge based on appearance. Power and rapport can be improved in our Beast King Foster shop." "But what if there are contestants using Starfare Foster Care Shop's washing and protection services?" Fang Liming, raising this point, squinted. "Then," Wang Zubin paused, then broke out into a grin, "then it is even better. We can join hands with their foster shop. Let's overpower the Starfare Foster Care Shop in the beauty contest. We can negotiate with those two customers. Let's cooperate during these 2 days to give them the best services. You provide the washing and protection service. We provide the sparring and feeding service. Let's join forces. No matter how strong that Su Ran kid is, can he still beat us when we join hands?" Fang Liming nodded slightly. Given the current situation, he couldn't think of a better plan. "So it's settled." Time flies. An hour later, Su Xiaoxiao, holding the flame fox, reluctantly returned to the first floor of the store. It was only when the music stopped that she realized an hour had already passed. Time really does fly. "How is it? Are you satisfied with the results?" Su Ran asked, pulling Su Xiaoxiao back to reality. "Yes, very satisfied." Su Xiaoxiao nodded vigorously. By the end of the hour, the flame fox was already able to unleash flame dance without lifting its front paws. Although it was less powerful than usual, it was still a significant improvement. When it can display as much power as it does when it lifts its front paws without doing so, it means that the flame fox has completely detached from its casting posture. In the future, it will no longer need to kick the ground with its 2 front paws before spellcasting. Mutilda. "It's so fun, I'll come again next time." The flame fox twisted lazily in Su Xiaoxiao's arms, showing no signs of fatigue on its face. The peculiar dance was incredibly captivating, causing time to pass without notice. Chapter 122-96, Star's First Time. "I'm glad you're satisfied. Welcome to visit again." Su Ran nodded, opened his personal panel and saw the credited 1 prank experience point and 10 skill points, his smile growing even brighter. He casually opened the panel of Xian and looked towards the proficiency of Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound with some surprise. Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound, Starlight Level, 113,500 plus. By his estimation, 3 hours had passed since Xian began training. In those 3 hours, it would have consumed an energy-abundant potion to train once, but the proficiency of this skill has increased by 21 points, which is significantly more than previous one-time training sessions. In addition, the improvement of other skills is also not low. It seemed that the adjustment to the training method and improvement of the training environment were paying off. Nodding slightly, Su Ran added all the 10 newly earned skill points to Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound, then notified Xian via contractual sensing. Meow. In the Thunder training area, Xian, who was resting at the top of a small hill, suddenly raised its head. Just now, it had completed a 3-hour training session, and the effect of the energy-abundant potion had worn off, making it feel the onset of fatigue. So Xian decided to rest for an hour before continuing the training. However, not long after settling down, images of itself executing Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound under different circumstances flooded into Xian's mind. Each image seemed like a first-hand experience. Having been through this before, Xian realized it was the Beast Master adding points again. and the voice that followed through the contract sensing confirmed Xian's assumption. The Beast Master had added points again. Xian, who had initially planned to rest for an hour, slowly stood up. At this moment, it could feel the power the Beast Master had imparted to it. Even if it lacked the energy-abundant potion, it should strive to train harder to reciprocate this incoming power. Rest impossible. Ashamed of its previous thoughts, Xian resolutely dove back into the intense training. Xilu. In the dark attribute area, the running pace of Star gradually slowed down. It felt that the drug that had given it endless strength after consumption had lost its effect. Had 3 hours passed already? Star raised its head and looked at the stars in the sky. Among these stars, there wasn't one that belonged to it. However, now, in the midst of the long night, it was its own star. Xilu. With a fervent neigh, Star disappeared into the endless night. Even without the aid of the energy-abundant potion, it had the tenacity skill. It would continue to train in order to become stronger. It's about time. After attending to 3 more clients, Su Ran habitually glanced at the clock hanging on the wall inside the shop. Doing some quick calculations, almost 6 hours had passed since the 2 pet beasts had started training. It was time to fetch them. Boss, the results of your washing and protection service are amazing. I will definitely come again. A satisfied customer holding her fire hamster, whose appearance had been completely refreshed after the service, greeted Su Ran before leaving. She was a female student, and this was her second time using the washing and protection service. Thank you, but you can leave more time between sessions next time. Your pet is very clean and doesn't need frequent washing and protection. Su Ran casually suggested, and the fire hamster, who had been waving its claws to say goodbye to Su Ran in the female student's arms, immediately wore a scowl. Darn it, why would he suggest washing me less often? With the student covering her mouth and giggling, she and her pet disappeared from the shop. After stretching lazily, Su Ran shut the shop to end a day's business, then used the underground passage at the back door to get to the foster area on the lower level. Swift Sparrow, stop looking at me like that, it's not meal time yet. Golden Striped Ant, did you eat all the meal I portioned for you at once again? Armored Rhinoceros, I hope the injury you got last time you were summoned has healed. That would put me at ease. Frost Dust Wolf, are you getting used to being here? I'll prepare your dinner tonight. Greeting the fostered occupants along the way, Su Ran quickly arrived at the elevator entrance to the training area. First, I'll go to the dark attribute area. The moment he stepped into the quiet night, Su Ran felt a gust of wind hit his face. Star, fully included in the night by using Night Song, still had the conspicuous white mark on its forehead. Xilu. Star excitedly rushed to the front of Su Ran. As it slowed its speed, it naturally ceased the use of Night Song. Its short black glossy fur slightly glowed under the starlight, a couple of purple and crystal-like eyes glowing with intimacy. You've worked hard. Finding Star's shoulder covered in sweat, Su Ran immediately opened Star's panel to check its progress after training. Contract Pet Beast, Star. Race Name, Night Colt. Attribute, Dark Attribute. Growth Stage, Transcendent Stage, 254-500+. Race Rank, Leader Species. Skills, Twilight Watch Stardust Edition, 36-100+. Star Chain Stardust Edition, 32-100+. Night Eyes Stardust Edition, 41-100+. Night Song Stardust Edition, 40-100+. Nightfall Stardust Edition, 21-100+. Tenacity Stardust Edition, 52-100+. After 6 hours of intense training, the improvement in skill proficiency was significant, especially tenacity, which showed that Star indeed trained very hard. A gratified smile appeared on Su Ran's face. I'll prepare something delicious for you now, and then take you for a washing and protection session. Chapter 123-96, Star's First Time. A bath and grooming session. Anticipation twinkled in Star's eyes. It was indeed curious about what kind of magic lay in the Beast Master's grooming that could make the Frost Dust Wolf show such an attitude, and make Xian so approving of it. Let's go pick up Xian first and see how her training is going. Su Ran turned and headed for the elevator, with Star following closely on his heels. Shortly after, the pair arrived at the training area reserved for Thunder Attribute beasts. Just in time to see Xian throw back her head with a meow, causing a spectacular sight of a 100-meter thunder sea. Seeing Xian unleashing her power for the first time, Star widened its eyes, realizing the gap in strength between it and its elder sister. Gazing at the rapidly leaping Xian, the admiration in its eyes deepened. So strong. Would it be able to become this powerful in the future? Nicely done. Su Ran gently petted Xian's head according to his usual routine and checked her status, his face expressing shock. The growth of Starlight-level skills tended to be slower than Stardust-level ones, yet Xian's progress was in no way weak. Contracted pet beast, Xian. Race name, Electric Chasing Cat. Attribute, Thunder. Growth step, Elite Stage, 5831/20,000 plus. Species stage, Leader Species. Skills, Thunder Shake, Heavenly Sound, Starlight level 130/500 plus. Electric Pursue, Starlight level 129/500 plus. Battle Instinct, Starlight level 64/500 plus. Self-Healing Power, Starlight level 60/500 plus. Bloody Fury, Starlight level 77/500 plus. Aside from Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound, which received an additional 10 skill points, the other skills, proficiency, increased by an average of 30 points. Every one of these achievements were the result of Xian's hard work. Was it the influence of contracting with Star, or did the addition of skill points provide Xian with a new motivation? Su Ran could not decipher it just yet, but nonetheless, it was good news. Now it was time for him, the Beast Master, to do his part. You both worked so hard, I should make something delicious for you both. A supplementary meal was a must. Xilu is the food the Beast Master makes always, this delicious. Gazing regretfully at the empty food bowl in front of it, and then at the fosterage residents around it, who were all strong but burying their heads in their own meals, Star couldn't help but lean towards Xian, softly inquiring. Meow tilde, yep, super delicious. Xian, who had just finished eating, was in a great mood. She reached out her soft paw and patted Star's head, demonstrating an attitude that said, "You'll get used to it if you stay a little longer. Take your time eating, I'll clean up later, remember to behave yourselves." Su Ran stressed to a few mischievous inhabitants before turning to Star and Xian. "Let's head back to the first floor. Is it time for grooming?" Star's eyes glinted with longing and expectation, tailing Su Ran faithfully. Xian, who was also following along, had a look on her face that spoke of an upcoming amusing scene. She wondered if Star would make some strange noises. In no time, the trio returned to the store on the first floor. Star followed Su Ran directly into the grooming room. In contrast, Xian instinctively hopped onto the counter, seemingly preparing to watch over the shop. It was only until the grooming room door closed did Xian realize that the shop door had already been shut. Meow tilde, seems like there's no need to watch over the shop. Shaking her head slightly, Xian shifted her gaze towards the grooming room. If past patterns held true, Star would not make any strange noises so soon. Right, first thing first, she should see what that creature is doing. As if remembering something, Xian deftly hopped down from the counter, her tail standing erect. Taking her time, she climbed the stairs to the second floor. A moment later, she was quietly crouching in front of the beast egg at the head of Su Ran's bed. As she stared at the swirling, faintly glowing, earthy lines on the surface of the egg, lost in a daze. When it and Su Ran chose this beast egg, it thought it would greet the arrival of its new companion soon. Extending a claw to touch the eggshell, Xian gently meowed. "Although you will be the third one when you come out, both I and Star are waiting for you, so you must hatch quickly." Seemingly sensing Xian's presence, the earthy yellow pattern on the eggshell flickered slightly, revealing an intimate emotion from within the shell. After spending time with the beast egg, Xian darted back downstairs, and upon hearing the joyful neighing from the grooming room, a knowing smile appeared on its face. Hum tilde, as expected, no pet beast can resist the grooming of its beast master. SHH. In the grooming room, Su Ran had finished the initial soaking, rinsing off the copious sweat that Star had shed during training. He now held a soft brush with fine bristles, gently brushing Star. The brush tip slipped through the small gaps in Star's dense, short coat, tenderly grazing the area around each follicle. The bizarre tingling sensation from deep within the follicles spread throughout Star's body, causing its robust frame to tremble. Xilulu tilde. Star's voice shook a bit, feeling as light as if it was galloping across the plains with night song. Now it understood why the frost dust wolf made that kind of sound when it was groomed by its beast master. and why its elder sister told it, "Wait till Sue Ran grooms you once, and you'll know," when it asked about the grooming experience. This feeling, it was indescribably marvelous. Brushing, trimming, care, drying. Each step was carried out systematically. The star emerging from the grooming room was vastly different from its previous self. The black to purple gradient mane fell softly and smoothly over its neck, each hair shimmering mysteriously under the light like the night sky. Its matching tail swayed slightly with its movements, revealing its lustrous softness. Star's sturdy body was covered in a smooth fur that glowed under the light, emphasizing its muscular lines. Its 4 purple hooves, trimmed by Sue Ran, had a gem-like sheen and a hard texture. The grooming made its eyes, which were like purple crystals, even brighter, and the white starry mark, slightly above the center of its eyes, stood out brilliantly against the black pelt. "Zylulu, I know what grooming feels like now." Star strutted over to Xian, who was lazily lounging on the counter, to share its newfound experience of grooming. "Meow Tilda, I know I've been groomed many times now, Tilda." Xian waved its paw, implying it had been through this experience many times than Star had. Not necessarily. Hearing the exchange between the two pet beasts, Sue Ran gave a wry smile. "I've improved my grooming techniques, so the results are now better than before. So if I groom you now, the result will be better than it was in the past." "Meow, really?" Upon hearing this, Xian was pepped up. Its lazy demeanor vanished in an instant. It jumped from the counter, biting Sue Ran's trouser leg and dragging him towards the grooming room. "Ready for grooming?" "All right," Sue Ran shook his head helplessly. Xian's last grooming session was before the final round of the challenge match. It had not been too long ago, but it had been through a lot and made several trips since then, and it indeed needed a good wash now. He decided to pamper this little guy who'd been training for 6 hours today. A while later, a prolonged and enchanting sound came from the grooming room. "Meow tilde tilde tilde." "Zylulu." Star, who was outside the grooming room, tilted its head. Why does elder sister's voice sound even stranger than mine? "Okay, you two play." After grooming Xian and cleaning up the food bowls on the ground floor, Sue Ran stretched lazily, turned around and headed upstairs. "I'm going upstairs to meditate." In the past, he would have taken Xian upstairs with him, but now with Star around, it's better to let the two little ones have some fun on their own. There are still about 20 days left on his meditation acceleration card. Although he'd already reached the second stage of contract power, it's not a bad thing to meditate a bit more and make the most of the time. Who wouldn't want to reach the third stage sooner? Chapter 124-97, The Flame Fox's Upgraded Appearance. In addition to the 9-10 updates for rippling spring sounds from the Silver Alliance. "Zylu, is that where the Beast Master sleeps?" His gaze followed Sue Ran as he disappeared at the top of the stairs, and Star, who hadn't yet been to the second floor, became curious. "Meow Tilda, Sue Ran and I both sleep upstairs." Xian, whose tail and rear were high in the air after washing and grooming, stretched her front legs straight ahead, yawning. "Us big sister live upstairs too." An admiration appeared in Star's eyes. Even though he had a vast underground area to himself, Star, who had recently formed a contract with Sue Ran, felt a strong affection for his master. He assumed it would be wonderful to sleep with Sue Ran. Of course, Star knew it would not be easy. Given his large body size, which would only grow larger, he knew he was not as small as his big sister. Noticing Star's eyes kept staring curiously upstairs, Xian had an idea. "Meow, do you want me to take you upstairs to have a look?" "Zylu, can I?" A joyful surprise flashed across Star's eyes. Xian, tilting her head in thought, then resolutely nodded. Although the upstairs area was small, there would be enough space for Star. There wouldn't be enough room for him to run around, and staying there usually might be a bit cramped, but a quick look around would certainly not be a problem. After neatly jumping up to the stairs of the second floor, Xian turned to look at Star, dropping her voice slightly and speaking softly. "Meow Tilda, step lightly, the Beast Master is probably meditating, we can't wake him." Zylu understood. Star got the message and followed behind Xian, treading lightly. Both pet beasts silently climbed the stairs from the first to the second floor, quickly arriving at Sue Ran's bedroom. Sue Ran was sitting cross-legged on the bed, already in meditation with the help of the meditation acceleration card. At the sight of him, the movements of the two pet beasts became even gentler. Xian raised a paw and waved to Star to catch up before cautiously going to the beast egg on the bedside table. What is that? Following Xian's movements, Star shifted his gaze from Su Ran to the bedside table. Is that an egg? As a transcendent being, he could sense the life force emanating from the egg. He stepped quietly forward. Thud tilde. The robust sound of his hoof touching the wooden bedroom floor made Star quickly lift his foot, placing it down even lighter than before. When he curiously arrived at the beast egg, he lowered his head and sniffed the scent of the egg with curiosity in his eyes. Zailu, what kind of egg is this? Lowering his voice, being careful not to disrupt Su Ran in his meditation or to frighten the little life within the egg, he asked. Meow tilde, he could be our future companion tilde. Xian looked at Su Ran, who was still in meditation and undisturbed, and softly explained how they had come to acquire this beast egg. Learning of how Xian and Su Ran had drawn in more customers through their appearances in challenge matches, Star found himself smiling, intrigued. When he learned that Xian, even while in the transcendent stage, had defeated the frost dust wolf and dark scale dragon alongside Su Ran, Star couldn't help but feel a little bit jealous and longing. It was a shame he hadn't shared in these moments. But as he thought of the adventures he would have with Su Ran and his companions in the future, Star's envy gradually turned into expectancy. He mimicked Xian and gently raised a hoof and laid it on the beast egg, sending his blessings. He also wished to see the new companion that would hatch from the egg. Seemingly sensing a different aura and Star's good intentions, the egg's exterior designs began to flicker at a faster rate, as if responding to the two pet beasts. After spending a moment with the egg, Xian and Star carefully exited the room. Then, led by Xian, Star toured the other parts of the upstairs lounge area. The bathroom, bathing room, study. Even though the arrangements were common, Star seemed especially interested because of Su Ran's living presence. Upon leaving the bedroom, Xian spoke a little louder, seeing Star's curiosity. She started sharing interesting things that she and Su Ran had done. For example, the first time she saw Su Ran taking a shower in the bath, she thought he was in danger, so she kept scratching at the door, almost breaking it open. Or when Su Ran was reading in his study, she loved jumping onto his lap and sleeping there. Telling these stories, Xian couldn't help but tear up. It's maddening. After she grew, she couldn't easily lay on Su Ran's lap. When will her reduction skill be arranged? Meow tilde, let's go to the foster area. After touring the entire second floor, Xian waved her tail. Zailu, okay. Star reluctantly glanced back at the bedroom before following Xian downstairs, treading lightly. Chapter 125-97, The Flame Fox's Upgraded Appearance. The two pet beasts quickly made their way through the back door and arrived at the foster area located on the first subfloor. Upon arriving at the foster area, Xian wasted no time as it led Star to the area where the other residents lived, introducing Star to their new neighbors. Meow tilde, that's the armored rhinoceros uncle. He's one of the earliest residents of this shop and loves playing with mud. You better stay away from him. Meow tilde, there used to be a shadow chaser lizard here with the dark attribute. It has already left with its beast master, otherwise, you would have had a lot in common. Meow tilde, that's the golden striped ant. It needs to eat 12 meals a day, but after coming here, it often stealthily eats several meals in a row. Meow tilde, as for that frost dust wolf, you've already met it. It's a bit clumsy. Let's not pay it much attention. Star had just made fleeting eye contact with these soon-to-be long-term neighbors while eating dinner together, and did not remember much about most of them. But gradually, through Xian's familiar introductions, Star began to understand the characters, habits, and temperaments of these neighbors, thereby feeling more at ease in its new environment. Thanks to Xian's introductions, the old residents here found out that the new guy who had taken such a large territory just after arriving is not a new resident, but Boss Su's new pet beast. For Boss Su, who fed them every day, they dared not to offend him. Even the most combative ones among them have dispelled the idea of causing trouble for Star. In the end, Xian led Star to the place that was part of its nocturnal environment, stood upright, and gently tapped Star with its paw. Meow tilde, rest early, see you tomorrow. Zailu, see you tomorrow. Watching the big sister walk away, Star's eyes were filled with closeness and gratitude. It did not turn back and step into the darkness until Xian disappeared on the first subfloor. Xian gently strolled back into the bedroom on the second floor, hopped onto Su Ran's bed, adeptly picked up a corner of the blanket with its mouth, covered Su Ran's lower body, curled up in the warmth, and cheerfully closed its eyes. It's time for sleep. I was careless. The next morning, Su Ran, sitting at the head of the bed and listening to Xian proudly talk about how it took care of Star last night, slapped his head in annoyance. In his estimation, preparing a space for Star to live and washing and grooming it once after making a contract would have been enough for Star. However, he had overlooked the fact that Star and Xian had different experiences. Xian was originally a stray cat and had quickly adapted to its new home upon arriving at the shop, but Star had lived in the Mount Beast breeding base, surrounded by its parents and friends. Being suddenly thrown into a new environment, Star might not have shown it, but would definitely feel uneasy and out of place. Xian, however, had the knack for noticing Star's hidden feelings and helped Star familiarize itself with the fostering area and the living area on the second floor after his meditation. Good job, I'll give you an extra leg of a blue dove. Su Ran patted Xian's head and laughed. The blue dove was one of the sources of food provided by the system for Xian, a transcendent aquatic creature. It lived in seaside areas, which were not found in Kingju City. Blue doves ate fish and their meat tasted like chicken but had a fishy aftertaste. The blue dove's leg was currently one of Xian's favorites. Meow yay. Upon hearing about the extra meal, Xian's eyes instantly lit up with excitement. Let's go down and see Star. Su Ran got down from the bed, quickly washed up, got dressed and went downstairs with Xian. Zilulu. In the foster area, Star let out an excited neigh. Like a shadow in the darkness, it quickly went to Su Ran, lowered its head and rubbed its head and cheeks excitedly against Su Ran's palm. Good morning. Su Ran patted Star's neck and started to carefully prepare food for the two pet beasts and the other occupants of the foster area. After feeding them, the two pet beasts were sent to their respective training areas for a new day of 6 hours of training, while Su Ran went back to the foster shop to open for business. An ordinary day at Starfair Foster Care Shop begins now. Boss, I'm here. From outside the shop door, Su Xiaoxiao's energetic voice can be heard, a day later. Having just opened the shop not long ago, Su Ran gets up from behind the counter, a slight smile on his face. You're here. Boss, is the grooming session really free this time? Holding the flame fox, Su Xiaoxiao can't help but confirm it again. Of course, Su Ran nods without hesitation, but you have to help me advertise if you win. I'll try my best to get into the top 3, says Su Xiaoxiao seriously. Top 3, Su Ran is surprised. I think you and Flame Fox have a shot at first place. That's a tall order, Su Xiaoxiao sighs. Although Boss Su, your grooming skills are really incredible, appearance is just one criterion of a beauty contest. There are many strong competitors in this competition. Wait till I'm done grooming, then you'll see. Su Ran omits the fact that the shop's grooming has been upgraded. He believes that once the grooming is finished and Su Xiaoxiao sees the results, she will understand where his confidence comes from. Oh right, how many rounds are there in the beauty contest? Suddenly thinking of something, Su Ran stops in his tracks, turning to look at Su Xiaoxiao. There's only one round. Su Xiaoxiao shrugs. Although it's a city-wide competition, it's really just a small one, but it's a good honor for individuals. But beast masters who are interested in pet beast grooming would basically pay attention to it. Su Xiaoxiao quickly adds, fearing Su Ran might think the advertising wouldn't be cost-effective and charge her. Only one round then. Okay, that's fine. Su Ran nods slightly, a hint of regret in his voice. Do you want to accompany it during the grooming session? No, Su Xiaoxiao waves her hands. I'll just wait outside. Although Boss Su's grooming skills are phenomenal, the process is far too embarrassing. Having experienced it once, she wouldn't dare accompany the pet right in. No problem. Su Ran, keeping a straight face, carries Flame Fox into the grooming room. A moment later, strangely embarrassing noises come out from the grooming room. Meow tilde tilde tilde. Sitting in the lounge eating chips, Su Xiaoxiao hears this familiar sound and can't help but stomp her foot, feeling as if there are nails underneath her seat, causing her great discomfort. It's just too weird. Moreover, for some reason, it feels like Little Flame is making noises earlier than usual, and the volume seems to have increased too. Amid Su Xiaoxiao's restlessness, the grooming session ends quickly. Looking at the swaying Flame Fox walking out from the grooming room with Su Ran, the standing-up Su Xiaoxiao can't help but widen her eyes. Wait a minute. Su Xiaoxiao has experienced the pet grooming services at Starfair Foster Care Shop several times already, and she thought she had built up some resistance to the incredible transformation in Flame Fox's looks afterwards. But what in the world is this heart-stoppingly beautiful creature in front of her? It's as if a god has taken a bunch of rosy red sunset clouds and squeezed them into the shape of a fox. Each strand of its slender, gradient fur sparkles under the light. The fluffy tail is as light as mist, swaying gently like a cloud floating in the wind. A ring of black and brilliant gold short fur around its eyes shimmers under the light, acting as a beautiful eyeliner for Flame Fox's stunning gemstone-like eyes. This level of beauty, it's simply. Su Xiaoxiao feels she can't describe it with words anymore. I did mention earlier that the shop underwent an upgrade. Su Ran smiles. As part of it, the grooming service was also upgraded for free. This is the result of the current grooming service. Su Ran pauses. So now, do you think you and Flame Fox have a shot at coming first? Absolutely. Su Xiaoxiao regains her composure and asserts decisively. Forget that appearance is only one of the judgment criteria. Today Su Xiaoxiao, will show everyone that beauty is justice. Chapter 126-98, again. Xiaoxiao is Flame Fox ready? Gazing at Su Xiaoxiao, who came alone to the beauty contest, the already seated Gu Ling, Lin Yue, and Duan Angsun came over to her. Su Xiaoxiao nodded, her face full of confident smiles. Little Flame is in the fire attribute training area in Boss Su's shop, always ready to answer my call at its best state. Fire attribute training area. Gu Ling raised her eyebrows, an interested expression on her face. Does Boss Su's shop now offer accompanying training services? Yes. Su Xiaoxiao nodded. Seeing that there was still some time before the start of the competition, she began to chat with the sisters. Gu Ling, are you interested in pet beast accompanying training? Average? Gu Ling shook her head. As you know, we have. Anyway, my dark-scaled dragon doesn't need to go to the fosterage shop for training. Su Xiaoxiao nodded. She naturally knew about the family situation of her childhood friend. The dark-scaled dragon's father was under contract with Uncle Gu, and his strength had reached the general stage. So why would he need training from someone else? But Gu Ling paused. If it's the accompanying training service in Boss Su's shop, I want to check it out. I guess it must be extraordinary, right? Indeed. Thinking about the Flame Fox's devilish training method, Su Xiaoxiao's face showed a strange look. Boss Su's accompanying training method is different from other foster shops, but it's very effective. I always feel like accompanying training is a tax on intelligence. Lin Yue around waved her hand without care. If you really want to accompany a pet beast for training, wouldn't the beast master himself be more suitable than the staff in the foster shop? No, there is a difference in accompanying training. Gu Ling's expression became slightly serious, helping the beast master monitor the training of the pet beast and urging it to achieve its target training volume is the lowest level of accommodating training. Higher-level sparring trainers have unique understandings of different skills. They can guide the pet beasts to use specific devices and train more efficiently. I heard that some sparring trainers can help beast pets upgrade a skill from Stardust level to Starlight level in just 2 or 3 days. That amazing! Lin Yue couldn't help but gasp. A look of, I have learned something new, appeared on her face. I guess I know too little about accompanying training. I took the colorful cloud parrot for one training session the other day. Duan Angsun chimed in this time. The sparring trainer did indeed help the colorful cloud parrot train its skills more efficiently, but it was quite torturous. I felt bad for it, so I didn't continue to bring it there. You can bring the colorful cloud parrot to Boss Su's shop. Su Xiaoxiao patted Duan Angsun's shoulder. If I'm not wrong, Boss Su is probably the higher-level accompanying trainer that Gu Ling mentioned. My little flame only trained there for an hour and it was incredibly efficient. It didn't suffer at all during the training, but instead. Su Xiaoxiao paused slightly. It seemed too happy. Training can be fun, Lin Yue looked surprised. Then I must try. I will also bring the colorful cloud parrot there. Duan Angsun nodded seriously. Then I have to bring mine as well, laughed Gu Ling with anticipation. All right, let's get back to Xiaoxiao's competition. Xiaoxiao, after my observation, you have 2 strong competitors. He Shaekang from grade 3 of Nanhang Middle School and Ning Junli, the social beast master. As Gu Ling spoke, she opened a notebook. Despite it not being her own competition, she had done a lot of homework for her best friend's competition. These two's pet beasts were cleaned and cared for in the Dawn Foster shop, which was the city's unanimously acknowledged #1 before the appearance of the Starfair Foster Care Shop. In addition, they received accompanying training and feeding service in Beast King Foster Shop before the competition. It is said that the accompanying trainers and nutritionists in Beast King Foster Shop were highly paid recruits from the second-level town, not to be underestimated. These two's pet beasts are strong competition for the beauty pageant champion. With the support of 2 foster shops, their pet beasts, per show state, must be at their peak. Compared to that, the other competitors' pet beasts are also competitive, but none of them pose a threat to you, since you had your clean and caring done in the Starfair Foster shop. Gu Ling paused. Luckily, Boss Su's shop doesn't have too many guests. The current status of the Starfair Foster Care Shop is peculiar. Even though it is well known, its fame has not yet fully translated into reputation. Due to the limited capacity of the Starfair Foster Shop, perhaps fewer than 3 figures of clients have actually consumed in the shop. So for most of the Beast Masters, they have heard of Starfair Foster Shop, but are still in the stage of observing. In such an important competition like the beauty pageant, Beast Masters naturally prefer to choose a foster shop they have been to and trust. As a result, among the competitors, only Su Xiaoxiao chose to get cleaning and caring at the Starfair Foster shop. Anyway, put your all into this competition, and getting in the top 3 should be no problem. Gu Ling said seriously. With this honor, you can get bonus points for your college entrance exam. She was about to say something else when Su Xiaoxiao pulled her over. Gu Ling, you're great, but don't worry about these. In this beauty pageant, I, Su Xiaoxiao, am bound to win. Feeling the odd glances from other spectators around them, Gu Ling, Lin Yue, and Duan Angsun simultaneously held the boastful Su Xiaoxiao back. Chapter 127-98, again. Gu Ling looked somewhat helpless. What was going on? In her impression, Su Xiaoxiao was not such a blindly overconfident person, was she? Boss Su's washing and protection services were indeed fantastic, but wasn't Su Xiaoxiao being too overconfident? Knowing that Su Xiaoxiao wouldn't listen to her analysis at this time, Gu Ling sighed softly, closed her notebook and put it aside, soothing Su Xiaoxiao like a child. Okay, you're the first, let's keep our voices down. Oh, Su Xiaoxiao patted the hands of the other 3 girls, laughing. Don't worry, I won't tell you the reason now. I'll give you a surprise later. Then I'll have to see what surprise you have prepared. Duan Angsun shook her head helplessly. Don't be blindly confident like me. The 4 girls chatted and giggled quietly until the beauty contest officially started. As a competition that was quite popular, albeit small in size, the beauty contest followed a simple procedure. The initial 42 contestants each had 3 minutes of showtime, during which 12 judges would grade them based on looks, strength, personality, coordination, and other factors. The highest and the lowest score were eliminated from consideration, and the average of the remaining 10 was the final score for each contestant. The rankings of their final scores determined their place in the competition. One round decided the outcome. Su Xiaoxiao was slated to appear relatively late, as the 39th contestant. The 2 contestants Gu Ling had mentioned earlier, He Shaokang and Ning Junli, were the 11th and 27th contestants, respectively. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our beauty contest. The host briskly walked out onto the stage, addressing the audience with great enthusiasm. From the audience seats, Gu Ling glanced at the host. Wasn't he the host for the previous challenge match too? He's the designated host for the Beast Master Association's competitions. Duan Angsun had some familiarity and explained briefly. I see, Gu Ling nodded, not speaking further. After the host announced the beginning of the competition, the first 10 nameless contestants took their turns on stage. Amidst the cheers and applause, each completed their 3-minute performances. The highest-scoring contestant got a final score of 96.3. Then it was He Shaokang's turn. He was a refined boy wearing glasses, exuding a scholarly charm with a certain confidence that was characteristic of the strong. As he stepped onto the stage, a uniform chant came from a section of the audience. Victory for Shaokang, victory for Nan Hong. Shaokang, you're the brightest star. What an awkward slogan. Lin Yue couldn't help but roll her eyes, looking at the direction of the chant. She saw a group of girls in neat school uniforms arranged in formation. Are these girls from Nan Hong Middle School? Yes, Duan Angsun nodded slightly. I heard about this contestant named He Shaokang. He's quite popular at Nanhong Middle School. Apparently, he's the school hunk. He's decent looking, but looks don't matter in a beauty contest for beast masters. Lin Yue glanced at He Shaekeng, then couldn't help but take another look. The performance has started, Gu Ling suddenly said, and both women stopped chatting and focused on the stage. After bowing elegantly towards the judging panel, a hexagram star array emerged behind He Shaekeng. Amidst the swirling wind, a robust, green-colored dog with a lion-like head stepped forth. If Su Ran was there, he would immediately recognize it as a winged lion dog. Though it was not as big or reached the elite stage like Liu Gu's winged lion dog, its majestic presence was identical. The fur of this winged lion dog was meticulously groomed, giving off a visible sense of comfort as it swayed subtly with each step under the sunlight. It made people itch to pet it. As the winged lion dog fully materialized, He Shaekeng leaped onto its back and began their prearranged performance. Watching the seamless coordination between the boy and beast, performing high-difficulty stunts that made the audience scream within their 3-minute time frame, the crowd's cheering and clapping grew increasingly fervent. Lin Yue, Duan Angsun, and Gu Ling, who were sitting next to Su Xiaoxiao, became serious. They were very familiar with the Flame Fox, and consequently had certain expectations of Su Xiaoxiao's presentation. According to their estimates, Su Xiaoxiao might not be a match for He Shaekeng. On the other hand, Su Xiaoxiao was now lost in her thoughts, communicating with the Flame Fox in the Fire Attribute training area through her contract. As for the Flame Fox, it was dancing to the routine boss Su had taught it last time. Soon, He Shaekeng's 3 minutes were nearing the end. As the last show pose was completed, the 3-minute countdown ended right on time. Amid the cheers and applause of the audience, He Shaekeng patted the head of his winged lion dog, taking the microphone from the host. "Contestant He Shaekeng, thank you and your pet beast for bringing us a wonderful performance," the host graciously thanked him. "You're welcome." He Shaekeng took over the conversation, speaking calmly. "I must thank the Beast King Foster Shop for its meticulous service towards my winged lion dog. Any beast masters with fostering needs, I recommend you go there." "Huh? What?" The entire venue fell into a bizarre silence, the smile of the host frozen on his face. Having recently had his salary docked for advertising someone, he now felt a familiar malice coming at him. How is it that he's advertising again? In the audience, the 3 women of Gu Ling looked at each other, surprise showing on their faces. Is this following Boss Su's example? Initially lost in daydreams, Su Xiaoxiao suddenly snapped back to reality, her gaze on He Shaekeng as alert as facing a formidable enemy. Damn it, other foster shops are advertising too. Her original plan was similar to He Shaekeng's, to recite an advertisement after the show, but now she, Su Xiaoxiao, needed to change her advertising method. Otherwise, Boss Su will definitely think that she's merely going through the motions. "Little Flame, stop jumping. Let's discuss how to advertise later." She quickly used contractual sensing to communicate with the Flame Fox. "Huh?" After hearing the context, the Flame Fox's dance steps in the fire training area slightly faltered. "What other contestants are advertising too? In order to get discounts from Boss Su in the future, we need to do this, then that." Su Xiaoxiao quickly communicated a new advertising plan to the Flame Fox. This time, the Flame Fox was extremely cooperative. "For the sake of future wash and care and accompaniment during training, let's charge ahead." "All right, thank you for your speech, contestant He Shaekeng. Now, let's see the final score given by the judges." The host handed the microphone to He Shaekeng to stop him from continuing to speak, then turned his eyes towards the judges' seats. Soon, the judges announced He Shaekeng's score. Out of a perfect 100, He Shaekeng scored an impressive 98.3, a full 2 points higher than the previous highest score. For a time, the contestants who had already completed their show all had gloomy expressions, and those who hadn't yet performed became increasingly nervous. Performing after such a strong contestant isn't a good thing. Time passed by the minute and second. Soon, 16 more nameless contestants had completed their competition. Apart from He Shaekeng, the contestants with the highest scores scored 97.4 points, still a substantial distance from He Shaekeng's score. Watching Ning Junli step by step onto the stage, ready to begin her show, He Shaekeng's face couldn't help but become a little more solemn. She was his biggest obstacle to winning the championship. Ning Junli is a girl with long black hair. She waved cheerfully at the judges and then summoned her pet beast. In the wild wind, a mantis pet beast as tall as a person, with a mainly green body adorned with peach blossom pink, a slender waist wearing a skirt of pink flower petals, appeared. Combat System Pet Beast, Peach Blossom Mantis. With the appearance of the pet beast, the one-person one-pet show officially began. 3 minutes of exhilarating performance, ending with the peach blossom mantis swinging its sharp forelegs, slashing at Ning Junli's head amidst the audience's screams, and perfectly giving her a princess cut. Spectacular performance. The host hurried onto the stage and handed the microphone to Ning Junli. Thank you and your pet beast for the show. With a newly styled hairdo, Ning Junli gave a slight smile. I must thank the Dawn Foster store for its meticulous service for the peach blossom mantis, any beast masters with washing and protection requirements. Hearing the familiar advertisement, the host's vision went black. Again. Chapter 128-99. Do you know what is high-level taste? Hearing the words of the advertisement recited calmly by Ning Junli, the atmosphere in the field suddenly became strange. Gu Ling couldn't help but glance at Su Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao, why don't you advertise for Boss Su after you finish your performance? As smart as she is, she knew at a glance that this was a strategy jointly developed by the two best foster care services in Qingju City. And the fact they chose to imitate Boss Su's advertising during the competition makes it clear who they are targeting. Don't worry. Su Xiaoxiao waved her hand, glanced around, and began to speak softly. I have already promised Boss Su I would advertise for him during the competition. And it definitely won't be in this simple way. I must say I'm kind of looking forward to it. Lin Yue chuckled. I wonder what Xiaoxiao's advertising will look like. You'll know soon enough, Su Xiaoxiao chirped back. While the girls were talking, the host on the field had already timely interrupted Ning Junli's advertising behavior and received her final score from the judges. After eliminating the highest and lowest scores, Ning Junli's score was 98.4. Barely 0.1 points higher than He Xiaokang's score. He Xiaokang, who was sitting in the audience, had a slightly darkened expression. His face looked a little gloomy. Such a small difference in score was enough to leave him distressed. After Ning Junli left the field, the competition continued in an orderly manner. However, after the high scores of the first two contestants, the enthusiasm of the subsequent contestants was greatly diminished, and one of the contestants even had a bad performance. Soon it was Su Xiaoxiao's turn. The 39th contestant to take the stage is Su Xiaoxiao. Hearing her own name coming from the loudspeaker, Su Xiaoxiao stood up from her seat and patted her 3 closest girlfriends beside her. Here comes my performance. She walked briskly to the center of the stage, took a slight bow, and then a hexagram star array lit up behind her. Whoosh! A wild wind swept through the field and a hot surge of air rolled in. Stepping lightly and gracefully from the burst of flaming flames, a stunning fire sprite emerged. It took a tantalizing look at the crowd and then raised its head to make its own sound. Squeak tilde tilde tilde. In the audience, many spectators were astounded by the appearance of the flame fox. The 3 most familiar with Su Xiaoxiao were utterly dumbfounded. The beauty of the flame fox after grooming, how could it be so striking? They couldn't help but think back to Su Xiaoxiao, saying she would give them a surprise before her performance. That was indeed a huge surprise. After the competition, they need to interrogate her properly. Little flame dance. Su Xiaoxiao's voice rang across the entire competition venue through the head-mounted microphone. The flame fox's long bushy tail swayed gently, and columns of fire burst out from the ground around it without any warning, symbolizing the start of the one-person one-pet showcase. Is that flame dance? In the stands, the 3 women who were familiar with Su Xiaoxiao and the flame fox were once again stunned by the flame fox's performance. A few days ago during testing, the flame fox couldn't spontaneously invoke the flame dance skill. It needed to claw at the ground as a casting action, so why doesn't it need to now? Not waiting for them to wrap their heads around it, the flame fox's seamless dance steps immediately after attracted all their attention, leaving them no time to wonder about anything else. In the sky full of fire, the flame fox lightly leapt, its form flickering among the flames, sometimes interacting with Su Xiaoxiao, and at other times alone, demonstrating high-level fire control skills. Their cooperative performance elicited continuous gasps of amazement and applause from the audience. The performance was also gradually nearing its end. After a glance at the countdown, Su Xiaoxiao and Flame Fox nodded at each other. Now's the time. Whoosh! Following Su Xiaoxiao's command, the Flame Fox manipulated the surging fire ropes around it, raised its front paws seriously, and stomped on the ground in front of it. The Flame Fox had basically distanced itself from the casting action of flame dance under Su Ran's training. The reason it was doing it again now was because in the next moment, it needs to give its all. Boom! A dazzling pillar of fire rose up from about a meter ahead of the Flame Fox, the golden red fire light reflected on every spectator's face in the stands. Using the repulsion from the ground, it lightly leapt up and landed on Su Xiaoxiao's raised hands. The Flame Fox sang a long tune. Squeak tilde tilde tilde. With its cry, the fire pillar peeled off, and in front of everyone, the flames transformed into a line of words, showing from top to bottom in front of everyone. Starfare Foster Care Shop, the best care for your pet beast. The reuse of the fire pillar. This is not the Stardust level's flame dance. Now the Flame Fox is showing the Starlight level's flame dance. Xiaoxiao actually advertised in this way. In the audience stand, Lin Yue stood up in surprise and said, "No, that's not the point. Flame dance has broken through to the Starlight level." It seems so. Gu Ling slowly stood up, looking at the words in the fire, her eyes gradually brightened. Xiaoxiao said before that the Flame Fox was given accompanying training service at the Starfare Foster Care Shop before it got here. Could this be the reason for the breakthrough of flame dance? It seems that it's a must to bring the dark-scale dragon to Boss Su to try the accompanying training service. Again, the host on the sidelines almost fainted as he looked at the flaming words, thinking, there goes my salary. After Ning Junli had advertised, he had skipped over the contestant speech segment, not giving them the microphone, to avoid another contestant advertising. Who would have thought that someone would actually advertise in such a crazy way? Chapter 129-99. Do you know what is high-level taste? If he makes any more mistakes while hosting, his salary for this gig is at risk of being docked completely. Being a laborer is hard, damn it. The host kept his eyes fixed on the text floating in the air, which hadn't yet fully dissipated. Starfare Foster Care Shop. That's it, the root of all evils. If this shop participates in any future competitions, he absolutely must be on high alert. Not bad, not bad. This advertising effect is very prominent. Inside the Starfare Foster Care Shop on the first floor, Su Ran chuckled as he looked at the live broadcast of the competition on his cell phone. When Su Xiaoxiao came for washing and grooming in the morning, he found that the flame dance skill of the Flame Fox was not far from breaking through to the Starlight level. So he had it stay in the shop for training, hoping to break through to the Starlight level before the competition. Looking at it now, it was indeed a successful breakthrough. If they had promoted themselves with advertisements like the two previous foster care shops, the effect might not have been as good as it is now. Moreover, the host seemed to be on guard. Xiaoxiao might not have had the chance to read out the advertisement. Speaking of which, Su Ran's eyebrows raised slightly as he thought of the two foster care shops that had advertised before Xiaoxiao. Damn, they actually plagiarized his advertising idea. He must reclaim this advertising fee sooner or later. Boss Su, are you there? Oh, I am. Hearing the familiar voice from outside the door, Su Ran put aside his thoughts and stood up. Brother Zhang, it's you. Haha, long time no see, it's me. Zhang Yun laughed and walked into the shop. There followed a thin, short boy behind him. Is it for a wash and groom for stone-armored dragon, or is it for foster care? Noticing that the stone-armored dragon wasn't following Zhang Yun this time, Su Ran asked casually. Neither. Zhang Yun laughed. The grooming you did for the dragon last time was so effective that it doesn't need another one now. I haven't had any business trips lately, so there's no need to foster the stone-armored dragon. Then you? Su Ran looked at the boy behind Zhang Yun, realizing that the client this time might not be Zhang Yun himself. This is my nephew, Zhang Ziu. Zhang Yun patted Zhang Ziu's shoulder. Call him Uncle Su. No, no, no. Su Ran was embarrassed. I'm not much older than him. Let's just call each other by our first names. Brother Su. Zhang Ziu politely smiled. I heard from my uncle that the grooming at your shop is exceptional, so I wanted to get my pet beast to try it. No problem. What's your pet beast? Seeing that Zhang Ziu also didn't have a pet beast by his side, Su Ran asked. I'll summon it now. As soon as the words fell, a hexagram star array appeared behind Zhang Ziu. In the twinkling array, a huge figure appeared in the foster shop. Thud, the moment the figure emerged, it fell directly backward, landing with a dull thud. Seeing this 3-meter tall, round, and honest-looking pet beast that was sound asleep, not even its summoning woke it up, Su Ran's expression became a bit strange. This is the Earth attribute pet beast, round bear. Zhang Yun scratched his head and began to explain for his nephew. This species is among the better ones in Earth attribute pet beasts. It has 3 2-star talent skills. I helped him select it as his first pet beast species. However, Zhang Yun's face showed some helplessness. Xiu didn't notice when he chose and accidentally picked a round bear with a lazy personality. About 1/3 of this species is very lazy and unwilling to move. I can't be blamed for that. Zhang Xiu glanced at the still sleeping bear, completely oblivious to their conversation. How would I know that it was putting on an act? When I went to choose, it was the most active among all the round bears. Good heavens, it would hit trees and swing its fist around, chasing other members of its species, who knew it was afraid of not being chosen, so it pretended to be active. Seeing Zhang Xiu's wretched expression, Zhang Yun and Su Ran's expressions also became a little strange. This kid is really having a tough time. Then why do you want me to groom it? Su Ran couldn't help but be curious. I heard my uncle saying that the grooming in your shop is a luxury experience for pet beasts. I want this lazy guy to try it. Hopefully, I can use grooming as a bait to encourage it to train hard in the future. Zhang Xiu punched the air, seriously making his point. Well, it seemed a former customer had the same idea. Oh, it was Lucky Liu. Su Ran turned to Zhang Yun. It was Stone-Armored Dragon's idea. Zhang Yun shrugged. Anyway, there's no harm in trying it. All right, but there's a problem now. Su Ran glanced at the round bear lying on the ground. If it's not cooperating, I'm afraid I won't be able to groom it. Such a giant, weighing tons. Even Su Ran, who received feedback from Xian and Star, found it challenging to easily turn this big fella over. No worries, I have a way. Zhang Xiu gritted his teeth and took a can out of his pocket. When the can was opened, a slightly fishy smell wafted out. Round Bear's deep snoring suddenly stopped. It sniffed the air, lazily sat up from the ground, and extended its paw towards Zhang Xiu, making a feeding gesture, making a wah-wah tilde sound from its mouth. It really is eat sleep. Time for an appraisal. Race name, Round Bear. Attribute, Earth. Growth stage, Transcendent state. Body type, large size. Washing and protection requirement. Evaluation, a lazy guy who takes eat, sleep, repeat as its life goal. It's time to use your skillful hands and show it what high-level pleasure means. I quite agree with this evaluation from the system, this time. Su Ran's mouth twitched a little. Okay, let it come to me. Sure, but I have to go in with it. Without the enticing smell of this can, it could fall asleep again at any moment. Holding the can above his head to avoid Round Bear's paw, Zhang Xiu patted the bear's head. We'll feed you after the washing. Even though Round Bear is gigantic and lazy, it has a good temper. Well, it might be too lazy to lose its temper. Even without getting food, it didn't show much reaction, but stood up straight and slowly followed Zhang Xiu into the grooming room. You sit here. In the grooming room, Su Ran brought a chair for Zhang Xiu. Sure, Zhang Xiu sat down with the can, curiously looking around. Brother Su, your grooming area is really big. Of course, even super large pet beasts can be groomed here. Su Ran smiled and gently tapped the paw Round Bear extended towards Zhang Xiu. Lie down. Why tilde? Will it really feed me after grooming? There was a hint of inquiry in Round Bear's voice. Rest assured, we'll feed you after grooming, Zhang Xiu replied helplessly. Receiving a positive response from Zhang Xiu, Round Bear felt reassured. It obediently lay on the grooming platform, its eyes unwavering from the direction of the can. Obviously, it isn't preoccupied with the upcoming grooming. Its mind is solely focused on hurrying to eat the fragrant can. Ignoring me. Looking at Round Bear, who didn't even spare a glance at him, Su Ran revealed a benevolent smile. Experience the pleasure. Huala. The shower gel, blended with special resources, was heated to the perfect temperature and evenly sprinkled on Round Bear's body from the shower head, then flowed down its fluffy body. The water flow gradually penetrated the thick fur until it reached the hair roots, brushed against the hair follicles, and freely explored the gaps in the hair roots, caressing the most sensitive nerves, creating an odd tickling sensation that originated from the hair follicles and flowed deep into the body. What? Round Bear's eyes, which were half closed and looked as if they could fall asleep at any time, suddenly widened. Its body uncomfortably writhed a bit. Its chubby body, Duang Tilda, began to wobble on the grooming table. What's this? A kind of joy it had never experienced before gradually surged into its mind, with its wet body. Something seemed to aggressively insert itself between eating and sleeping, giving it a completely different joy that was just as fulfilling. Pleasure value from round bear plus 15. Pleasure value from round bear plus 15. From Suran's mouth slightly turned up. You now understand what high-level fun is. This is just the beginning. Chapter 130-100, Reward for the Hardworking Star Breakthrough. An exclusive update for rippling spring sounds of the Silver Leader Alliance 1010. Wow Tilda. The round bear sat up from the care platform with a trace of reluctance to end the process. Its thick fur had become smooth and glossy after washing and caring, fitting just right to the contour of its body in fluffy fashion. The previously tired eyes, seemingly about to close any second, now sparked with life, having tasted a higher level of pleasure. Come time to eat canned food. Zhang Ziu, who had been observing the entire washing and caring process, was still awe-stricken. The first thing he did was offer the already opened can of food. Wow Tilda. The round bear stretched out its paw. However, it did not reach out for the can of food as Zhang Ziu expected, but pushed it away and turned its head towards Suran. Wow Tilda. It says it doesn't want to eat canned food and wants you to wash and care for it again. Zhang Ziu somewhat awkwardly interpreted the round bear's intent. We just finished the wash and care. It is not good for the round bear's fur to clean so frequently. Su Ran smiled and looked at the can of food in Zhang Ziu's hand. Anyway, it seems that your goal has achieved. Oh yes, being reminded by Su Ran, Zhang Ziu had a sudden realization. He promptly turned his head towards the round bear. Daksheng, if you agree to train with me, we can come here for regular washing and care. Deal. Well, the round bear grimaced in anguish at the mention of training. Its inherent laziness made training seem uninteresting, as every single moment felt like it was in jail. Even if it had just experienced the comfortable service of washing and caring, if training was the bargaining chip, it still couldn't agree immediately. Let's leave the washing room first. Su Ran chuckled, perhaps I can provide some assistance. While speaking, he glanced at his personal panel. Insightful eye. Considering the delivery, let's help this lazy bear. However, Su Ran couldn't help but recall the almost half-asleep eyes of the round bear before washing and caring. Is it serious about this insightful eye? The racial attribute is somewhat abstract. How's it? Zhang Yun, who had just walked out, noted the freshly cleaned round bear and laughed. Have it agreed to train? Not really. Zhang Ziu told Zhang Yun what had transpired between himself and the round bear in exact detail. In that case, it's a bit difficult to handle. After all, laziness is part of round bear's nature. You can't entirely blame it. Zhang Yun stroked his chin and then looked towards Su Ran. Boss Su, you said you have a solution. What is it? The reason why the round bear is unwilling to train is, firstly, it's lazy, and secondly, training is too arduous. Su Ran began to earnestly analyze. Laziness can be eliminated by using washing and caring as bait, but the toughness of training will still repel it. What if training becomes fun? Boss Su, are you suggesting? Zhang Yun, who was experienced, quickly understood Su Ran's intention, getting a good sparring trainer to design a suitable training method for round bear. What I mean is, why not try our shop's accompanying training service? Su Ran pointed to the price menu. Zhang Yun finally noticed the updated price menu of the Starfair foster care shop, apparently clueless of when it happened. Hiss. He was initially startled by the prices for super large pet beast cleaning and caring, and the price for fostering general stage or king stage pet beasts. However, he quickly realized that these services had nothing to do with him. His attention then turned towards the accompanying training price menu. Boss Su really knows how to surprise us. Whenever you have new services, you must inform us, your regular customers. After seeing the price, Zhang Yun laughed, patting Zhang Ziu's shoulder. Let's go, take the round bear for an hour's training. Out of trust in Su Ran, Zhang Yun did not hesitate. He even plans to bring his stone-armored dragon in a few days, if the training of round bear proves effective. Sure. Su Ran nodded slightly and briskly stepped towards the back door, accompanied by the two men and a beast. Wow, the foster area has become so large. Upon reaching the underground level, Zhang Yun exclaimed, then suddenly realized the implications. Boss Su, is this space expansion technology? Ah, yeah. Su Ran was nonchalant, accepting Zhang Yun's guess readily. Looking at Su Ran's indifferent demeanor, Zhang Yun took a sharp breath. He has always thought Su Ran was a normal person, adept in washing and carrying technology. But now he seems to be a boss. Not everyone can use this technology. Su Ran not only used it casually, but also seemed quite serene about it. This shock intensified as Su Ran brought them to the Earth Attribute training area. Gazing at the towering mountains that suddenly appeared outside the elevator, and feeling the intense Earth Attribute power in the training area, Zhang Yun decided on the spot to bring his stone-armored dragon here the next day. The round bear following them also felt the strong Earth Attribute power here. Unusually, it began to take independent steps wandering around, exploring. Alright, let's start training the round bear now. Su Ran turned to Zhang Ziu, who was still in a state of surprise. What skill do you plan to train the round bear for? Zhang Ziu snapped out of his stupor, then train it for shattering rock strike. Chapter 131, 100 Reward for Hard Work, Star Breakthrough. Just say or not say. Su Ran's mouth twitched slightly, no problem. In order to improve the efficiency of this training session, the system will grant the host related knowledge of the Shattering Rock Strike Skill Training Guide. After digesting the knowledge poured into his mind by the system, Su Ran's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. The best way to train this skill is actually like this. Wait a moment. He turned and walked towards the training equipment warehouse, quickly fetching a pair of oversized claw gloves. After strapping the claw gloves onto Round Bear's powerful front paws, Su Ran patted its drooping head. All right, now it's time to sleep. Zhang Yun couldn't help but look at Su Ran. A look of confusion appeared on Zhang Ziu's face. Weren't they here for training? Why had it turned into sleep? The happiest one in the place, however, was Round Bear. Hearing that it could sleep after having mentally prepared for grueling training, it quickly became Javist. But you need to change your sleeping position. Seeing Round Bear looking as dopey as ever, Su Ran spoke slowly. Come on, do as I say. Sit down, spread your legs, prop yourself up with your claws, lower your head. Good, that's it. Su Ran nodded, satisfied with Round Bear's position. Just sleep like this. Almost the moment Su Ran's voice fell, Round Bear fell asleep immediately. For it, sleeping in any position was just as easy. Seeing Round Bear's abstract sleeping position, sitting on the ground and propping itself up with its claws, Zhang Yun and Zhang Ziu both expressed their confusion. Brother Su, can we train Shattering Rock Strike like this? Zhang Ziu couldn't help but ask. Think about it, how is Shattering Rock Strike executed? Su Ran gave Zhang Ziu a reassuring look and asked. Slapping the ground with both claws. Recalling the scene of Round Bear releasing Shattering Rock Strike, Zhang Ziu spoke somewhat uncertainly. Right, just like that. Su Ran nodded slightly. The essence of Shattering Rock Strike is to strengthen the connection between the paws and the earth, instantly activating the earth attribute power when necessary, causing the earth to crack and create powerful destructive effects. Keep sleeping with your paws touching the ground. How can you not make great progress with such diligence? Diligence. Hearing Su Ran's words, both Zhang Yun and Zhang Ziu twitched at the corners of their mouths. Why does it sound not quite right? Don't worry, you'll know in an hour. Seeing their doubts, Su Ran didn't explain much. Sleeping with your paws propped against the ground is naturally not enough, but with those claw gloves, it's different. The gloves, which transmitted the pulse of the earth to the bear's paws at all times, helped Round Bear to better grasp the Shattering Rock Strike skill. At this moment, Round Bear was in a dream, its spirit naturally relaxed, making it easier to turn this pulse into instinct. After pointing out some relevant matters to them, Su Ran leisurely returned to the shop to continue watching the beauty contest live broadcast. It's over. Su Ran shook his head slightly, clicked on the broadcast replay, and continued watching from where he had left off. Su Xiaoxiao's victory had hardly been suspenseful. Under Su Ran's guidance, the flame dance skill proficiency had broken through to the starlight level, and with the help of the washing and protection, the flame fox easily achieved the highest score in the field. 99.5 points. Watching Su Xiaoxiao in the replay, holding up the beauty contest trophy with one hand and the flame fox with the other, displaying a brilliant smile, Su Ran couldn't help but smile himself. After this advertising, there will be more visitors coming to the shop for washing and protection, right? If it could be said that the previous advertising during the challenge match merely made everyone aware of a shop called the Starfair Foster Care Shop in Kingju City. Then the current beauty contest was showing more directly the excellent results of Starfair Foster Care Shop in washing and protection and training. Many beast masters who were paying attention to the beauty contest had washing and protection requirements, so the coverage of this kind of advertising, although not as extensive as before, was much more precise. Su Ran, who now had recycling as a new system function, suddenly found his demand for washing and protection had increased. Before, if he wanted to acquire a skill suitable for his pet beast, he needed to find a pet beast with the corresponding attribute, and then sweet-talk the corresponding beast master to bring the pet beast for washing and protection. Now there was no such hassle. As long as there are more and more customers coming for washing and protection, the skill suitable for his own pet beast could completely be acquired by exchange. "Excuse me, is this the Starfair Foster Care Shop? Is the flame fox from the beauty contest washed and protected here?" A voice came from outside the door. Seeing the new faces with their pet beasts, Su Ran smiled. "Yes, this is the place. Welcome." This advertisement came at just the right time. After seeing off the highly satisfied new customer, Su Ran stretched lazily. There was a rustling noise from the back door of the shop, and Uncle Zhang Yun and his nephew came in with the round bear, which had been sleeping. "No, training for an hour." "Boss Su, you're incredible." The first thing Zhang Yun did after stepping out of the back door was to cast Su Ran an admiring glance. Such a simple training method can actually improve the proficiency of the shattering rock strike. After an hour of training, they ran a test on Round Bear's shattering rock strike, and the visible improvement was noticeable. Not only was the training effective, but the most pleasant surprise was that the Round Bear did not resist the training at all, and instead thoroughly enjoyed it. "Brother Su, from now on, our Round Bear will train here." Zhang Ziu showed a delighted expression. "We're going to train for 12 hours every day." "Oh, this," Su Ran's mouth twitched slightly. "Half a day training every day. Compared to the lazy Round Bear, is this beast master too diligent?" "Sorry, we have rules here. Each pet beast can only train for 6 hours a day." Su Ran refused the proposal without a second thought. Training needs a balance of work and rest. It is very tiring for Round Bear to sleep. Even sleeping gets tiring. Zhang Shu and his nephew's mouths convulsed. But since Su Ran had already spoken, Zhang Ziu could only compromise. "Then I'll come train for 6 hours every day." "Good," Su Ran nodded with a beaming smile. "The growth of skill points is fixed, 10 points per hour. If Zhang Ziu trains for 6 hours every day, he can garner 60 skill points and 6 pranks experience point each day. Such high-grade customers are always welcome. Then I'll continue to train for the remaining 5 hours today." Zhang Ziu was visibly excited as he paid and grabbed Round Bear to head towards the back door. "This kid." Zhang Yun watched Zhang Ziu's retreating figure and chuckled softly. Ziu is a hardworking boy. Having such a lazy pet beast always troubled him. Now with a method to train, he can't wait to become stronger. "Indeed very hardworking," Su Ran agreed with a nod. "All right, I'll get going. Next time I'll bring my stone-armored dragon over for training." Zhang Yun stretched out his hand towards Su Ran, laughing heartily before turning to leave. Watching Zhang Yun leave, Su Ran suddenly heard a passionate rallying cry in his mind. "Zailu! It's Star!" Listening to the message conveyed by Star through the contractual sensing, a delighted look came over Su Ran's face. He promptly opened Star's panel. "Contract pet beast, Star. Race name, Night Colt. Attribute, Darkness. Growth stage, Transcendent stage, 412/500+. Race stage, Leader species. Skills, Twilight Watch, Starlight level plus. Star Chain, Starlight level plus. Night Eyes, Starlight level plus. Night Song, Starlight level plus. Nightfall, Starlight level plus. Tenacity, Starlight level plus." It only took 3 days for Star to elevate all his skills to the Starlight level, as Su asked. This was certainly due to the pranks and environmental factors, but what was even more crucial was Star's unwavering perseverance and himself fully completing 6 hours of training every day. "Star, come on up." Su Ran chuckled softly, communicating with Star through contractual sensing. "I said before, once all skills reach Starlight level, I would help with your breakthrough. Now is the time." During this period, he didn't give all of his body constitution points to Xian. The remaining points were reserved for this exact moment. A diligent child deserves to be rewarded. Chapter 132, 101 Urgent Problems to Solve. Zylulu. Inside the temporarily closed Starfare foster care shop, Star kept kicking its hooves, and a look of anticipation emerged in its purple eyes. On the counter, Xian, who had rushed over after hearing the news, tuckered its paws in its belly in a peasant tucking manner, casually swung its fluffy big tail a couple of times. Curiosity flickered in its eyes. Although it had advanced itself before, it never saw other pet beasts advance. "Are you ready?" Su Ran took a deep breath and added 88 physical points to the growth progress bar of Star. Growth step, Transcendent Stage 412 500 plus. Growth step, Transcendent Stage 500 500. Zylulu. After being awarded points, the stature of Star visibly grew. It lifted its head and neighed, its eyes filled with excitement. At the moment when Su Ran boosted the progress bar to 500, Star felt that it had reached a fulfilled state. Its strength could no longer continue to grow through normal training, to improve only. Advance. From the Transcendent Stage to a higher growth stage to gain a higher strength limit. The door to advancement had already cracked open in front of it. Push it open. Push it open. The instinct to grow stronger continuously emerged in Star's mind. Without hesitation, Star pushed open the door to advancement. Its body abruptly burst forth with blinding white light. Even though its attribute was of darkness, it seemed even more dazzling than the light attribute at this moment. Within the glow, Star's figure was growing continuously. It grew larger and mature from a small horse, while its height, which was already 2 meters after awakening, grew taller. 2.5 meters, 3 meters, 3.5 meters. The height of Star froze at 4 meters and ceased to grow. As the body grew rapidly, the stature of Star also increased at a rapid speed. In a heartbeat, it had already reached double of the original capacity, and this was only the beginning. As Star's strength grew, warmth was transmitted to Su Ran through the beast-taming contract, flowing into him, strengthening him as well. That was the result of the beast-taming contract's reciprocity. After stepping into the elite stage, Star's reciprocity wasn't much inferior to Xian's. Such power was also a significant enhancement for Su Ran. Su Ran couldn't help but utter a low hum, and a strange expression surfaced on his face. At this moment, it seemed that he had experienced the feelings of those pet beasts that he had nurtured. After what felt like a minute, the dazzling light gradually disappeared. Star hummed happily, lowered its head, and approached Su Ran. Affection and gratitude beamed in his eyes. Though it didn't know why its strength had suddenly increased so much before advancing, there was no doubt that it was closely related to its beast master. Just as the beast master had given it the awakening it had always wanted, and taught it skills without any hint. This was the magical power from the beast master. The expression on Su Ran's face slowly settled. As the strength of Star stabilized, the power reciprocity also came to an end. His strength after the growth was almost double the original. Su Ran felt an intense premonition that he could defeat the Transcendent Stage pet beast with his physical body now. "Now you're as tall as your father." Looking up at Star, who is now as big as Chasing Wind was back then, Su Ran's face turned into a smile. "How does it feel to be in the elite stage?" Zylulu. Answering him was a fervid neigh from Star. Stroking Star's increasingly tall mane, Su Ran opened the system panel, looking at Star's new growth stage. Growth step, Elite Stage 502000 plus. How come it's so neat? Looking at the neat progress of Star's growth stage, Su Ran's face showed a hint of surprise. A moment later, he had a conjecture. Perhaps this is related to Star's breakthrough through adding points. Usually, when a pet beast reaches the fulfillment of the Transcendent Stage, it will stay in this stage for a while before advancing to the Elite Stage. Although the strength doesn't increase during this period, perhaps the growth of power doesn't stop, but accumulates, and will bring stronger power to the pet beast after the breakthrough. Previously, after Xian reached the fulfillment of the Transcendent Stage, it waited for several days until Su Ran broke through the second stage with the contract power, and then it broke into the Elite Stage. Its growth stage progress right after the breakthrough was 5124, and that extra part compared to Star might be the accumulation result of those few days. In that case, when reaching the fulfillment of a growth stage, not to rush advancement and to accumulate for a period might be a good thing. Su Ran stroked his chin and put forward this supposition. Once bitten, twice shy. He must not be so hasty in the next breakthrough. While Su-ran was pondering, Xian slowly rose from the counter. It could feel that the little brother, who it could swipe down with a single paw before, had approached its strength closely now after advancing. However, looking at Star, who seemed to sense something, the eyes still carrying familiarity and respect as always, Xian nodded with satisfaction. Even if its strength increased, it's still its little brother. Meow tilde. With a soft leap, Xian jumped on the increasingly sturdy back of the Star. It laid on Star's back and yawned satisfactorily. It's much more comfortable than before. You too. Noticing the interaction between the two pet beasts, Su-ran couldn't help but laugh. He opened the panel, looking at a line. Insightful Eye, Teachable. Chapter 133-101, Urgent Problem to be Solved. Upon choosing this skill, the names of Xian and Starlight lit up at the same time in the list, indicating that both pet beasts could be taught. The ability was plucked from Earth attribute Pet Beast Round Bear, but could be taught to Thunder attribute Xian and Dark attribute Starlight. Without a doubt, it was a universal, unattributed skill. If both beasts can be taught, then there seems to be a question of who to teach. Xian currently doesn't have any vision-enhancing skills. This skill does not conflict with its existing skills and can be used as a supplement. Starlight has night eyes, so it has less demand for Insightful Eye, but the possibility of future skill fusion must be considered. Undoubtedly, this skill can be fused with night eyes, and also, as it is a vision-enhancing skill, the success rate wouldn't be too low. The ownership of a 2-star skill is a minor issue, but Su-ran saw bigger problems lying within it. Going forward, he will inevitably obtain universal skills which he can teach to all pet beasts, but how should these skills be allocated? The issue of skills can be exchanged and compensated with the recycling function, but there is one problem he simply can't bypass. Su-ran casually opened Xian's panel. Contract Pet Beast, Xian. Race Name, Electric Chasing Cat. Attribute, Thunder Attribute. Growth Step, Elite Stage 6324/20,000 plus. Species Stage, Leader Species. Skills, Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound, Starlight Level, 301/500 plus. Electric Pursue, Starlight Level, 182/500 plus. Battle Instinct, Starlight Level, 100/500 plus. Self-Healing Power, Starlight Level, 123/500 plus. Blood Fury, Starlight Level, 112/500 plus. Over the past 3 days, Xian's overall growth has been greater than Starlight's. Not only has the growth progress broken the 6,000 mark, all 5 skills have also seen significant growth. In addition to the training volume that is not less than Starlight's, Su-ran's point allocation over the past 3 days has also helped it. Especially for Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound. After a total of 12 hours of pranks over these days, the 120 skill points obtained were all used up. Now, it has broken through the 300 mark. But with Starlight also breaking into the elite stage, future points cannot be put entirely on Xian as in the past. How to allocate physical points and skill points is an issue that needs to be addressed urgently. Looking at the two pet beasts that are still playing close together, Su-ran knew that if this issue was not resolved well, it could easily cause bigger problems. Or else seek help from other beast masters. Su-ran had an idea, and he thought of the Beast Master Forum he had not logged onto for a long time. As a novice in beast mastery, there are many problems he could not learn from books, such as how to manage multiple pet beasts. Perhaps other experienced beast masters could help him with this issue. After logging into the forum, Su-ran pondered for a while and quickly posted a thread. Seeking advice, how to allocate training resources for multiple contracted pet beasts. Unexpectedly, just after the post was released, a red dot indicating a new reply appeared in the backstage. I have been looking forward to a post by Boss Su for so long. Su-ran. What's happening? Upon a closer look, he realized that his forum account had been exposed at some point. Internet Real Name System, huh? Looking at more and more replies, Su-ran could only helpless rub his forehead. Is this the side effect of advertising? No matter, let's get back to business. After carefully screening each reply, Su-ran quickly saw some substantial content. Change your way of thinking. How can both pet beasts be satisfied? Of course by preparing enough food for them plus extra. It's the same with resources. Money can solve everything. Sorry, money can't solve the problem of points allocation. Suran's mouth twitched slightly. The reply was reasonable, but unfortunately, it did not provide him much reference. However, it should be a good start. Suran continued to wait, and quickly received the second valid reply. I propose the competition method. By allowing multiple pet beasts to compete for resources, the fittest will survive. This is the law of nature, fair and just. Let Xian and Star compete for who gets the upgrade points. Suran glanced at the two pets playing and quickly gave up the idea. This method is indeed fair, but it lacks some human touch. In the long run, Xian and Star will face excessive competition. I'm afraid there won't be an opportunity for such a scene to occur again, right? Let's see. Suran continued to wait, and soon the third suggestion came. I suggest equal distribution. All resources should be equally divided among the pet beasts. Equal distribution, it could be an idea. Each pet beast gets half of the upgrade points, quite fair. But isn't it too fair? Training pet beasts is not like anything else. What if Xian or Star are in a critical stage and desperately need upgrade points? While Suran thought, a fourth comment caught his eye. It was not a reply to Suran's post, but to the third comment. Total equality doesn't exist. That approach is too idealistic and rigid. I suggest flexible equal distribution. The specific way is. As he read the user's lengthy comment, Suran's eyes gradually lit up. What is called flexible equal distribution is a form of value distribution. It's not to allocate existing resources, but to value existing resources according to the same standard and set the required value points. For example, a beast master has 2 pets and 2 types of resources, each worth 8 points and 10 points. So the total resource value is 18 points. Split between each pet, it would be 9 points. How can both pets use the resources equally? It's simple by borrowing. The pet needing 10 points of resources borrows 1 point from the other and repays it in a manner acceptable to the other. This repayment could be seeking chance to return the favor during subsequent resource allocation, or helping the other in some way. In other words, beast masters treat each pet equally, giving them the same initial value points. The pets then trade amongst themselves according to their needs. This method will not only make every pet complaint-free about resource allocation, it could also strengthen their relationship through frequent value point exchanges. Talent. After reading, Suran slapped his thigh in excitement. Never expected to find such a genius on the forum. This is the solution he needs. Suran quickly applied this to his situation. Currently, there are 3 main resources for his 2 pets. Teachable skills, physical points that can boost growth progress, and skill points that can enhance skill proficiency. Plus, various system rewards obtained from the pleasure value lottery draws, and other potential resources. Both physique and skill points are of equal value to Suran. Hence, when setting value points, it can be set as 1 value point equals 1 physique point equals 1 skill point. Based on this, considering the difficulty of decomposing a skill into fragments after acquiring it from washing and protection, 1 skill fragment can be set as 10 value points. Then the value of 1-star and 2-star skills would be clear. Whether obtained from plucking fur and then taught, or exchanged with skill fragments, 1-star skill equals 100 value points, 2-star skill equals 400 value points, 3-star skill equals 2,000 value points. Any higher is not considered for now. After determining the value of these 3 main resources, Suran began to consider how to set a value for the rewards obtained from the lottery draw. If values were set based on different types, the process would become extremely tedious. So values can be simply set according to rarity. From what Suran has so far obtained, there are 3 valuable prizes: green, blue, and purple. Setting the value of green items to be the standard of an energy-abundant potion, it should roughly be 50 value points. The rough increase of skill proficiency after 3 hours of training have the value because the pet beasts have to train hard. For blue items with the standard of a skill fusion stone, it should roughly be 100 value points. 3-star skill, 2,000 value points, 3 2-star skills, 1,200 value points, calculate 8 skill fusion stone fusion successes. As for purple items, so far he has only drawn a meditation acceleration card, with no reference, but 200 value points is definitely too low, so set it at 500 value points. The value of other resources can be set according to the actual situation. Then there's the last issue. Suran raised his head and looked at the two pets, who were curiously looking at him because of his exclamations. Can both of you do math? Xian. Star. Chapter 134, 102. Re-experiencing the sea wave flowers washing and protection. Meow tilde 24. Oh no, it's 21. In the recently reopened fostering shop, Xian sat on the counter. One of its paws was on another in an unprecedentedly solemn manner. Star, standing by its side, glanced at Xian's actions and then looked down at its own hoof. It abandoned the idea of learning arithmetic and silently turned to the multiplication table stuck on the wall with a serious expression. I must memorize this table. Inspired by the Beast Master Forum, Suran made an entirely new resource allocation plan, to which the two pet beasts had no major objections. Thus, arithmetic became a compulsory lesson for these two. If you can't keep accounts straight, you're at a disadvantage. Boss Su, your grooming is really surprising me. From the entrance of the grooming room, a guest holding a beautified pet beast beamed with excitement. I am going to recommend your shop to my friends. I appreciate it in advance, and I hope to see you again, Suran responded with a smile. After sending off the customer, Suran turned to the two pet beasts who were still trying to remember the multiplication table and smiled wistfully. Don't worry, given your intelligence, you should learn it in a few days. I will save the value points for you for now. Once you've mastered arithmetic, we'll start the allocation. In order for the two pet beasts to better understand value points, Suran told them some things that he had not mentioned before, yet without revealing the existence of the system. For instance, the fusion skills rely on the skill fusion stones, and the skills they could not be taught could be broken down into skill fragments. At present, all of Suran's physical points and skill points have been exhausted. The only skill he can teach is the insightful eye. In addition to that, the remaining resources include 7 bottles of energy-abundant potion, 1 skill fusion stone, and a total of 36 skill fragments gained through recycling, which also includes the leftover ones from the past. He still has a card with 1,000 Beast Master points. He used 50 points for the Beast Egg to exchange for the help for hatching. According to their approximate values, the remaining 950 points can correspond to 950 value points. This is all of Suran's wealth at the moment, totaling 2160 value points. In a few days, the total value points will witness a significant increase. On the one hand, there will be a continuous inflow of physical points, skill points, and skill fragments. On the other hand, Suran's pleasure value has accumulated over 50,000. According to the current speed of revenue generation, he can do a 10 consecutive drawing in just a few more days. The first 10 consecutive drawing after the system upgrade will inevitably bring a lot of good things. Suran has a premonition that, with the help of Lucky Liu, it's not impossible to draw purple items. In this way, when the two little creatures have mastered arithmetic, the value points should double from their current value. So the question is, when will Lucky Liu come to the shop? Boss Su, long time no see. Liu Gu's hearty laughter came from outside the shop door 3 days later. Suran's spirits lifted at once. He quickly went to meet him and saw a grimy Liu Gu, the wind lion dog, and the sea wave flower behind him. Uncle Liu, it's been a while, Suran said sincerely. Have your squad been fighting outside the city all this time? Yes, Liu Gu laughed heartily. Remember the transcendent creature collection area we talked about last time, where several of our hunting squads teamed up? Of course, Suran nodded. I remember you said last time that you only cleared a part of the area, so you finished clearing it in a week. No, Liu Gu shook his head helplessly. On the contrary, our clearing progress has even been receded. After the last joint operation with our departure, new transcendent creatures gathered in the area again. Liu Gu sighed. Fortunately, the new creatures are not as strong as the previous ones. There really are a lot of transcendent creatures outside the city, Suran couldn't help exclaiming. Yeah, though transcendent creatures have a harder time breeding than normal creatures, why can't we eradicate them? Liu Gu shook his head. But it's good for us because we have a stable source of transcendent resources. The problem is that there are too many transcendent creatures, so we always have to cooperate with other hunting squads to ensure safety. That's not too bad, Suran smiled. Let's not talk too much. This time both Doggy and Flower need bathing, so I'm counting on you, boss. Liu Gu laughed and slapped the bloody Doggy and the sea wave flower, which hadn't been bathed in a month and was starting to isolate itself. Sure thing. Su-ran's spirits lifted, and he quickly opened the personal panel to check. Host Su-ran. Contract power, second stage. Contracted pet beasts. Uncheck details. Star check details. System skills. Plucking fur C level. Drug application C level. Pranks D level. Pet beast skills. Insightful eye. Physical point 812 can be allocated. Skill points 210 can be allocated. Pleasure value 92,135. System upgrade experience 0-2000. Recycling. As Su-ran predicted earlier, a lot of skill points and physical points that were previously exhausted have been added in just 3 days. Chapter 135, 102, Re-experiencing the sea wave flower's washing and protection. Though no other teachable skills were acquired these 3 days, the continuous decomposition of useless skills had granted Su-ran a total of 26 skill fragments. The resources consumed over these 3 days were 6 energy-abundant potions. Total value points, 3,142 points. After much anticipation, Lucky Liu finally arrived. Naturally, lottery drawing was on the agenda. While he didn't have enough for a 10-in-a-row draw, he wasn't far off. Given the effects of his upgraded washing and protection, after taking care of the wind lion dog and sea wave flower, he would have enough pleasure value for a 10-in-a-row draw. Besides, he wanted to see if he could extract the self-healing power from the sea wave flower once again, to assign it to Star. Which one of you will go first? Bow wow. The wind lion dog shook its fur, matted with coagulated blood stains, looked at Su-ran with big, friendly eyes, stuck out its tongue, and gestured with its eyes to the hovering sea wave flower, signaling it to be groomed first. Though it was accustomed to cleanliness and equally desired Su-ran's long-awaited care, it, being a companion, knew that the sea wave flower, being severely obsessed with cleanliness, needed to be washed and groomed as quickly as possible. Gulp tilde. The sea wave flower floated in the air, its tendril-like feelers waved slightly, and it filled the air with a sound of gratitude like the gurgling of a spring. Given its current state, this was the most gratitude it could express. Floating in the air, the sea wave flower followed closely behind Su-ran, entering the grooming room with a certain urgency. Its body full of impurities, it needed Su-ran's assistance more than anything. Drop into the tub. Su-ran prepared a bath for the sea wave flower according to his advanced grooming knowledge, filled a large tub with it, and gestured towards the hovering sea wave flower. This was a familiar scene for the sea wave flower. It was a month ago, in the same tub, that Su-ran gently manipulated its layered, petal-like body, meticulously cleansing the deep-set grime. Revisiting the sea wave flower soon shed its initial stiffness. It hovered over the tub and then, plopped, jumped in. Gulp tilde. Immersed in the mild and soothing liquid, the sea wave flower felt as warm as if it was back in its cradle. As if it had fallen into its mother's arms, its tense body gradually relaxed, its closed, petal-like structure slightly unfolded, letting down its guard. Pleasure value from the sea wave flower plus 20. Pleasure value from the sea wave flower plus 20. You've changed quite a bit. Su-ran prepared for the next step of the grooming while examining the sea wave flower. He then spoke with a laugh. A month passed, and the sea wave flower was no longer at the transcendent stage. It was the only pet beast in the tiger hunting squad with healing abilities and had received a lot of resource investment. It has successfully broken through to the elite stage. Compared to its transcendent stage, the elite stage sea wave flower had grown more and longer tendrils, almost covering its entire body. Its originally semi-translucent body had a light blue hue, which now had deepened. It was significantly larger than before, and with the increasing layers of petals, its bud-like body had grown fuller. Overall, it had become much more fetching, exuding a somewhat stunning charm. Of course, Su-ran believed that the sea wave flower's appearance would improve even further after being groomed. Are you ready? Then let's get started. Su-ran put on exceptionally thin latex cleaning gloves and spoke softly. He then began to carefully unravel the tightly closed bud of the sea wave flower with his gloved hands. The tiny protruding particles on the surface of the gloves, gently gliding over the sea wave flower's body, were able to cleanse every nook and cranny of dirt as the petal-like structures were peeled apart. Gulp tilde tilde tilde. With Su Ran's meticulous cleaning, a tingling sensation, like being electrocuted, traveled throughout the sea wave flower's body. Its countless thin and slender tendrils stuck out rigidly, but then fell down powerlessly as its tense body was fully relaxed. Pleasure value from the sea wave flower plus 40. Pleasure value from the sea wave flower plus 40. From Su Ran was surprised. He glanced at the sea wave flower. Even after the advanced grooming, such high pleasure value was rare. Although the sea wave flower didn't come to be groomed often, every grooming session brought him quite a surprise. If all the pet beasts coming for washing and protection could be like this, his pleasure value earnings would be much more than now. Thinking of this, Su Ran's gaze toward the sea wave flower became increasingly gentle. After meticulously cleaning the deep-seated dirt hidden on the body of the sea wave flower, he took off the gloves he wore earlier. The gloves with tiny granules were helpful in removing stubborn dirt, but dulled the delicate touch. The more subtle dirt required direct hand washing for a deeper cleaning. Among the advanced grooming knowledge, Su Ran learned an efficient set of massage techniques that he didn't use last time when grooming the sea wave flower. He decided to use them this time. Directly inserting his hand into the thoroughly relaxed, slightly opened bud of the sea wave flower, the pads of Su Ran's fingers close to one side of the petals of the sea wave flower, then pressed gently to raise the petals. The slight roughness that he couldn't feel with the gloves was smoothed out by Su Ran's fingertips, and the alternating bending of 4 fingers made the massage more efficient. The body of the sea wave flower, which was originally relaxed, tensed up like it was electrified. With Su Ran's massage, its body couldn't help but tremble, and its tentacles all over its body were continuously tensed up in an S shape. Gudong tilde tilde tilde. Pleasure value from sea wave flower plus 80. Pleasure value from sea wave flower plus 80. From the grooming time for the flower is quite long. Sitting in the lounge, listening to the faint sounds from the grooming room, Liu Gu, who was already fully able to ignore it, chuckled. These few days its temperament has become colder. I knew something was wrong. It needs to be groomed again. Woof. The winged lion dog nodded, its tongue sticking out and its face full of naivety. In the city outskirts, the sea wave flower saved its life several times after breaking through the elite stage with its strong healing abilities, so it had a good impression of this companion. Woof. Suddenly the naive dog's eyes became sharp. It stood up instantly, its tongue receded, tightly closing its mouth to reveal sharp teeth, looking in a specific direction with caution. Zilulu. Star, having just completed his 6 hours of training and coming out of the back door of the shop, stopped in his tracks, a hint of surprise in his eyes. Who is this? Doggy? Liu Gu patted the winged lion dog's head, apologized to Star with a smile. Sorry, the dog just came back from outside the city. It has experienced a lot of battles and has not fully relaxed yet. Woof tilde. Under the reminder of the beast master, the winged lion dog also realized that its nerves were too tense, immediately de-escalated from the combat state, and apologized to Star with a woof. After the misunderstanding was solved, Liu Gu took a careful look at this majestic horse standing 4 meters tall, his eyes lighting up. Such a handsome pet beast, it must be awesome to ride on it, right? You are the pet beast fostered by Boss Su, Liu guessed. Zilulu tilde. Star neighed and shook his head. Then you are. Before Liu Gu could continue guessing, he saw Xian leisurely walking out from behind Star, his eyes widening in surprise. Isn't that Boss Su's pet? Has it advanced to the elite stage? Just a few days ago, didn't Boss Su participate in the new Beast Master Challenge match that only transcendent-level Beast Masters can participate in? He should have only left the city for a week, right? Meow, is that you guys? Tilting his head to look at Liu Gu and the winged lion dog he hadn't seen for a week, Xian turned around and began introducing the shop's oldest customer to the puzzling Star. Looking at Xian and Star, who were quite familiar with each other, a thought flashed through Liu Gu's mind. Could this black horse-type pet beast be Boss Su's second pet? Sea wave flower has been washed. It's the winged lion dog's turn. The door of the grooming room just happened to open at this moment. Su Ran, holding the sea wave flower in his hands, glanced around the shop and blinked. Is it the winged lion dog's turn for grooming? Chapter 136, 103 Purple Items, Xian's Evolution Path. Add-on Update 110, for Silver League Warm Sun 1314. Awu tilde tilde tilde. Accompanied by another weird howl, The door to the grooming room quickly opened, and Su-Ran walked out, leading a winged lion dog whose expression was unsatisfactory and posing in a cool and swag way. What the? Liu Gu's eyes widened dramatically. The previous sea wave flower, which was in the transcendent stage during the last grooming, had a significant change in form after advancement, but the contrast wasn't that stark. The winged lion dog, which had been groomed often during this period, and whose growth stage hadn't changed, showed a significant difference after this grooming, compared to before. Even Liu Gu, a rough man, could tell it was extraordinary at first glance. "Boss Su, what's with this?" Liu Gu walked around the proud and satisfied winged lion dog, smacked his lips, and couldn't help but ask, "Why does it feel like the grooming effect has improved a lot more than before?" "Because the grooming service in the shop has been upgraded." Su-Ran laughed and introduced it to his old customer on the way. "Now, the shop has added an accompanying training service, and the upper limit of grooming and fosterage has also been raised." "I saw the price menu earlier and already noticed that," Liu Gu chuckled. After Su-Ran took the sea wave flower into the grooming room, Liu Gu noticed the updated price menu on the wall. The bad news, prices are becoming more and more terrifying. The good news, this has nothing to do with him. "Anyway, if Uncle Liu has this kind of need in the future, you can consider coming to our shop." Su-Ran casually bumped Liu Gu's shoulder while laughing. After grooming the sea wave flower and winged lion dog consecutively, the pleasure value, which was previously a little short of 10 in a row, was enough now. 10 in a row, here I come." "All right," Liu Gu laughed, waved to Su-Ran. "Well, Boss Su, I'm leaving. I haven't been home in a week, there are many things to take care of." "Take care, Tilda." Standing at the shop door waving goodbye to Liu Gu and his two pet beasts, until the figures of him and his two pets disappeared from sight, Su-Ran quickly turned around to close the shop door, revealing an excited look. As he had predicted before, he got a purple from 10 in a row. He didn't have time to check just now, but now he finally got to see what he got. Was it the meditation acceleration card like before? Although the current meditation acceleration card had not expired yet, Su-Ran would still be happy if he got another one, with which he could almost certainly break through the third stage. Of course, if there were other purple item rewards, he would also welcome them as long as they had effects. The instant he saw clearly the purple item he got this time, Su-Ran's eyes widened. King Species Evolution Root. The King Species Evolution Root is a special item produced by the system. It can be used on any leader species of transcendent beings to obtain one of the evolution paths of the King Species of the transcendent being. Yes, it's this. Su-Ran took a deep breath, unable to repress his joy. He still remembered that when he first opened the lottery interface, he caught a glimpse of a golden item, Holy Spirit Race Evolution Root. Even now, he still didn't understand what kind of existence the Holy Spirit race is. However, he already knew the meaning of the evolution root. This meant that the lottery draw had a chance to obtain guidance related to evolution, and this was what Su-Ran had been hoping for. Evolution was too hard. In many exchanges with other beast masters, Su-Ran often heard descriptions like 9 deaths in 10, and as hard as climbing to heaven. Therefore, he had always been torn on the path of beast master. He wanted his pet beast to evolve continuously and become stronger, but he was also worried that his pet beast would fall into danger and perish during the evolution process. If there was guidance from the system, all of it might become simpler. Now he finally got it. Su-Ran quickly glanced at the other rewards besides the evolution route. 7 blues, 2 greens, 7 skill fusion stones, 2 bottles of energy-abundant potion. Su-Ran had been hoping to get more skill fusion stones from the upgraded 10 consecutive draws. Now that his wish was fulfilled, his emotions did not fluctuate much. After all, compared to the evolution route, the importance of skill fusion stone was not high. "Meow, did you get what you said before?" Xian's inquiry with a somewhat expectant voice snapped Su-Ran back to his senses. He didn't explain the specific lottery system to the two pet beasts, but when explaining 3 days ago, he hinted that there would be a batch of new resources in a few days, among which there should be many skill fusion stones. Probably his unexpected behavior just now made Xian have this guess. "That's right," Su-Ran nodded, admitting it directly. Meeting the eager eyes of the two pet beasts, he suddenly asked, "You two have both learned arithmetic, right?" Xian and Star nodded. For them, already at the elite stage and with significantly improved intelligence, Learning basic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division in a few days was not difficult. So now I'm going to start counting our value points. Suran pulled a small blackboard from the corner of the shop and wrote lines of text on it. Physical points, 812 points. Skill points, 210 points. Teachable skills, insightful eye, self-healing power. Skill fragments, 62. Energy abundant potion, 3 bottles. Skill fusion stone, 8 pieces. Beast master points, 950 points. King species evolution root, 1. Meow evolution root. Xian was originally staring at the blackboard, using the arithmetic it hadn't learned long ago to calculate the value points, but blew its top when it saw the last item. Chapter 137, 103 Purple Items, Xian's Evolution Path. Does the Beast Master still have such good stuff in his hand? I must get it. Xian's eyes lit up. No matter how many value points it takes, even if it has to borrow from Star, it wants to secure this evolution path. Xilu. Star's gaze was also firmly locked on the last item. Over the days, it had seriously made up for the knowledge it didn't know before, and had gained an understanding of the mystery of evolution, and was equally looking forward to it. This king species evolution route is worth 500 value points. Realizing what the 2 pet beasts were looking at, Suran drew a line under it with chalk and said, it should be available in the future. With the system's nature, where there is 1, there is 2. Now after being upgraded, the 10-in-1 purple reward has become easier to achieve, so the odds of obtaining the king species evolution route again in the future are not small. After explaining the value of the king species evolution route, Suran circled self-healing power among the teachable skills. This was just taken from the sea wave flower. He was thinking what comes of what Lucky Liu was awesome. Xian already has this skill, so it can only be taught to Star, and it needs to be deducted directly from Star's value points. Xilulu tilde, no problem. Star nodded. It had no objections to this. This is the kind of skill it needed. The total value is 4542 points, and you two will each get 2271 points. Suran taught self-healing power to Star casually. Okay, now Star deducts 100 points. So how are you going to choose next? He looked at the 2 pet beasts. This is the first use of this new allocation method. Whether it really works depends on how the 2 little ones coordinate. Meow tilde, give me the evolution path, okay? Xian turned his head to look at Star, his eyes gleaming. Meow, I don't want the insightful eye, and you can have priority on physical points and skill points. Xilu, really? Star was a bit tempted. It's clear that compared to itself, Xian, who already has the first 3-star skill, is more suitable to get the evolution path first. In comparison, it was interested in the insightful eye, which it hadn't fused with yet. This skill seemed to be able to fuse with night eyes. Thinking of Suran's words that there would be opportunities to get evolution paths in the future, and thinking of the care it had received from Big Sister before, Star didn't hesitate for long and made a decision quickly. Xilulu, give it to you. Meow tilde, love you. Xian nodded in satisfaction, and then turned his gaze to Suran. Okay, then the evolution path goes to Xian. Suran nodded with a smile. In his heart, he also preferred to give this evolution path to Xian, but since he had decided to give the initiative to the pet beasts, he had no intention of intervening. Having chosen Xian in his heart, Suran chose to use the evolution path. Under his expectant gaze, rows of text emerged. Evolution path, electric chasing cat thunder, right arrow thunder god cat thunder. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Evolution path, electric chasing cat thunder, right arrow electric light cat thunder. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Evolution path. Looking at the long list of evolution paths, a stunned look came over Suran's face. He originally thought that after using it, it randomly showed detailed information on one kind of evolution path. Now it seems he can choose it himself. Before choosing, he couldn't get too much information, and could only judge the superiority of the evolution type through the attributes after evolution and the 2 dimensions under the evolution path: evolution difficulty and evolution potential. Evolution difficulty is easy to understand, but evolution potential is not so easy to understand. Does he mean the strength of the evolution type, or some other factors? Taking a deep breath, Su-ran started to check from the first evolution type, Thunder God Cat. A moment later, he figured out the pattern. The majority of Zeon's possible future evolution types are purely Thunder attribute, with a few more other attributes besides Thunder. There seems to be a significant relationship between evolution potential and evolution difficulty. The overall regularity is that the greater the difficulty, the higher the potential. This made Su-ran, who was originally planning to choose the easiest evolution path, in a quandary. Evolution potential. Without much thought, Su-ran tapped on the characters in front of him, and to his surprise, a line of text popped up. Evolution potential refers to the further evolutionary potential of this evolution type. You could have mentioned that earlier. Su-ran groaned, and after reading the text he let out a deep sigh. The king species is only the first stage of evolution. Although it's already powerful for him now, the strongest beast master he has ever met was at the same level. However, Su-ran knew that the king species might not be much in front of more powerful creatures, so subsequent evolutions are equally important. He introduced the situation to Zeon, and Zeon's choice was in line with his thoughts. Choose the one with the greatest evolution potential. After a search, Su-ran's eyes stopped on a certain evolution path. There are 77 evolutionary pathways for the electric chasing cat as a king species, and only this evolution path in front of him has a 5-star evolution potential. But likewise, its evolution difficulty also reached 5 stars. Evolution path: electric chasing cat Thunder, right arrow flash Thunder cat Thunder fighting. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. An evolutionary type with both Thunder and fighting attributes, Su-ran suddenly thought of a 2-star skill, Battle Instinct, that Zeon has been using much less frequently lately. If it evolves to have the fighting attribute, this skill might shine even more right. That's it. Without further hesitation, Su-ran finally chose the evolution path. As other evolution pathways turned into ashes before his eyes, the path leading to the Flash Thunder Cat unfolded like an envelope, revealing more detailed information. Evolution path: electric chasing cat Thunder, right arrow flash Thunder cat Thunder fighting. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Evolution conditions. Electric chasing cat has not yet broken through the leadership stage. All of the electric chasing cat's talent skills must be promoted to 3-star skills before evolution, and the 1-star bite skill cannot be upgraded to a 3-star Thunder attribute skill. Must master at least one additional 3-star skill. All 3-star skills must reach Waning Moon level proficiency. Evolution materials: Heart of the Thunder Stone main, Thunder attribute King Stage Blood Essence main, Power Bone Dust main, Electric Energy Crystal, Harmony Stone, Life Dewdrop, Transcendence Flower. Missing main materials will cause the evolution to definitely fail. Missing auxiliary materials will reduce the success rate of the evolution. Evolution ceremony: choose a cliff with a drop of no less than 1 kilometer, climb to the top along the steep cliff using physical power in a thunderstorm, and complete the evolution at the peak. Looking down, Su-ran's expression gradually became serious. Is this the difficulty of a 5-star evolution? All 3 talent skills must be upgraded to 3 stars, and the 1-star bite skill cannot be merged with Thunder attribute skills, only with common skills. On top of that, an additional 3-star skill must also be mastered. That is to say, Zeon needs to have 4 3-star skills, and all of them must be promoted to Waning Moon level proficiency in order to meet the conditions for evolution. Not breaking through the leadership stage, on the other hand, seems to be the easiest part. Besides, there are 7 kinds of evolution resources needed. Although only 3 of them are main materials, Su-ran dares not miss any after reading the note below. The other things are still unclear, but from the Thunder attribute King Stage Blood Essence, it can be inferred that these resources are not simple. As for the last evolution ceremony, with Zeon's current power, climbing a kilometer-high cliff is not difficult, as long as it uses electric pursuit. If it can only rely on physical power, this so-called ceremony may not be so easy to complete. Looking at the expectant Zeon, Su-ran took a deep breath. Your evolution path might be a bit troublesome. Meow, I'm all prepared. Zeon nodded seriously. When Su-ran previously asked for its opinion, it chose the evolution path with the greatest potential without hesitation, so it was already mentally prepared for the greatest evolution difficulty as well. What hasn't Xian experienced? Bring it on. What I mean is, Su Ran paused for a moment, a strange expression appearing on his face. Are you ready to borrow value points from Star? Meow meow meow. Apprentice gift lottery for 10 pillows at 11 o'clock tonight. Open to apprentices and above-level readers only. Last day of August, asking for monthly tickets. Chapter 138, 104 Xian in debt. Meow. After negotiating with Star, Xian finally wept the tears of poverty. As the further development of electric pursue and battle instinct to 3 stars via skill fusion was needed, and there was an enormous demand for the skill fusion stone, Xian took all 8 of them. Additionally, in order to elevate his skills to the waning moon level as quickly as possible, Xian borrowed all the physical points and energy-abundant potions. For skill fusion, appropriate skills need to be exchanged using skill fragments, so Xian took all the available skill fragments as well. Moreover, Xian also had to move up 950 Beast Master points in advance to exchange for the resources required for evolution. Adding up the 500 value points spent on the King Species evolution route, Xian spent a total of 3230 value points on evolution. Not only did he spend all the newly acquired value points, but Xian also borrowed 959 value points from Star, promising to lend out unconditionally the value point Star would need for his evolution. He was suddenly impoverished and even in massive debt. What was left for Star were the 2-star Insightful Eye skill and 812 physical points, which were not so urgently needed by Xian. Only after the 2 pet beasts independently completed the loan of value points and resource allocation, Su Ran joked, Star, don't forget the value points that Xian owes you. Zilulu, I won't forget. Star nodded seriously. He decided to return to the place where he usually rested underground tonight, and carve this number on the ground with his hoof so he could look at it every day. 959 value points, which could almost be exchanged for 2 King Species evolution routes, could be exchanged for 19 bottles of energy-abundant potion, a fortune indeed. When elder sister returns her value points, these skill points could certainly be used to exchange for many things. Xian, however, appeared more distressed. Borrowing money might bring momentary relief, but the following repayment can be tormenting. Forget it, let's think about something happy. For instance, let's use the resources at hand first. Meow, skill fusion. Xian's eyes sparkled and he looked at Su Ran. It wasn't until Su Ran told him about the existence of the skill fusion stone that he discovered the enjoyment of skill fusion he had been experiencing all along. With 62 skill fragments, a 2-star skill could be exchanged again. According to the fusion rule from before, fusing electric pursue with another 2-star skill would most likely yield a second 3-star skill, furthering Xian's evolution. For the previous fusion, Su Ran said it took as many as 6 skill fusion stones. Hopefully, this time the luck would be better and fewer stones would be required. A poor child has to live thriftily. It's not easy. All right. Su Ran nodded slightly, then opened the recycling function and began to search the exchange lists of 2-star Thunder attribute skills and 2-star universal skills. With the experience from last time, this search was much smoother. Before long, Su Ran found the 2-star skill Shadow Return, which had the highest fusion success rate with electric pursue among its universal skills. This 2-star skill was quite interesting. The enhancement in speed was limited, but it would leave an afterimage in the trajectory while moving forward. Without external intervention, the afterimage could stay for a while. As long as the afterimage was present, the caster could return to any afterimage position at any time. As long as you are familiar with the mechanism of this skill, it is relatively simple to restrain. By shattering the afterimage, you can prevent the caster from returning to their original position. However, it is undeniable, it was indeed fun. Even Su Ran is somewhat anticipating the effect generated after its fusion with electric pursue now. Shadow Return plus electric pursue. Fusion success rate, 6.7%. Do you wish to fuse them? Yes, no. Let's see how fortunate could he be this time. Su Ran unhesitatingly selected yes. Once, twice, huh? Seeing the fusion success, words that appeared before his eyes, Su Ran fell into contemplation. Could he actually have gotten lucky this time? Was it because Lucky Liu had just left shortly ago, and the aura of Lucky Fish was still present in the shop? Forget it, no matter what, let's check out what it is first. Suran immediately opened Xian's panel. Electric Pursue had disappeared, and a new skill had replaced it. Step on electric traces, starlight level, 258/500 plus. 3-star skill, step on electric traces. Meow, how many skill fusion stones were used? Xian's voice was filled with surprise. Along with the vast influx of memories, it clearly knew that it had obtained a whole new skill called Step on Electric Traces. Just like when thunder shake heavenly sound appeared previously, an instinctive sense of joy and relief indicated to Xian that this new skill was indeed a 3-star skill as expected. He was one step closer to evolution. We were very lucky this time and only used 2 skill fusion stones. Suran smiled. There are still 6 left, but we're running short on skill fragments. The Battle Instinct skill was the fusion of 2 1-star skills and was therefore considered an ordinary 2-star skill. To make it reach 3 stars, it needs 2 2-star skills. Either would have to hope for a suitable skill from subsequent washing and protection, or would have to accumulate 80 skill fragments to exchange for 2 2-star skills. If the latter, it would require some waiting time. Meow, good. There was a joyous look on Xian's face. Chapter 139, 104 Xian in debt. Only 2 were used. Rounded up, I saved 400 value points. If all goes well, and the Battle Instinct is upgraded to 3 stars, perhaps the remaining 6 skill fusion stones will be enough. Xian's eyes couldn't help but reveal her thoughts. Star come. Suran didn't ignore Star, who was waiting on the side. He waved his hand and then rubbed the soft fur on the back of Star's neck. I'll add the physical points first. Silulu, good. Expectation appeared in Star's eyes. The joy of its strength continuously improving without doing anything before breaking through could be felt again, making its mood quite good. Growth Step, Elite Stage, 5189-20000 plus. Growth Step, Elite Stage, 6001-20000 plus. This might be the largest single increase Suran has made so far. With over 800 physical points released at once, Star's strength visibly increased, breaking the 6,000 barrier. Excitedly giving a neigh, Star paced a few steps on the ground, seemingly eager to start running full speed. Don't rush, you still have a 2-star skill. Suran smiled. I'm thinking whether to teach you this skill now or keep it and give it to you when you need to fuse skills. After all, once you learn it, you'll easily be distracted to use it. And this skill, when combined with Night Eyes, will inherit the proficiency of the higher one among the 2 skills. Xylulu tilde, then let's save it. Star, ever obliging, accepted Suran's suggestion. Training its current 6 skills takes a lot of its energy. Instead of adding another skill to conflict with Night Eyes, it's better to use it directly as a fusion skill when the time comes. Okay, then Star's resources are temporarily depleted. Suran patted Star's head and turned to look at Xian again. Let me check which evolution resources the Beast Master points can help you exchange for now. Then we'll go to the underground level and test your new skill. The 210 skill points are enough to directly add to the Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound up to the Waning Moon level, but adding those points can cause overflow. After all, you still have 3 bottles of Energy Abundant Potion, which allows you to work hard to increase some proficiency on your own. We can wait until Battle Instinct is also a 3-star skill, or even wait until you master the 4th 3-star skill, then see where you lack. Meow tilde, everything's up to you. With Suran's organization, Xian, who originally lacked a plan for how to use her resources, suddenly felt much clearer and readily nodded in agreement. After the discussion, Suran took out his cell phone, opened the official website of the Beast Master Association, entered the points exchange area, and searched for the resources Xian needs for evolution one by one. Heart of the Thunder Stone, not available. King Stage Blood Essence of the Thunder type, To his surprise, the second search turned up a pleasant surprise for Suran. They actually have this. Originally, Suran thought that Sui Stage Transcendence beings were already the strongest he had seen. The blood of King Stage Transcendent beings sounded very hard to come by. But the Beast Master Association seems to be more resourceful than he imagined. Perhaps other more powerful Beast Masters killed a Thunder-type King Stage Transcendent being, and some resources were allocated to Kingju City for emergency needs. But the price doesn't seem to be very appealing. Looking at the blood essence, which costs 800 points for just 1 drop, Suran became speechless. This thing is expensive. But a change is necessary. This is the main material for evolution. Without it, Xion's evolution will definitely fail. With only 3 drops in stock at the Beast Master Association, Su Ran immediately decided to exchange 1 drop and then continued to search for other resources. Power Bone Dust, not available. Electric Energy Crystal, Harmony Stone, Life Dewdrop, Transcendence Flower, all available. Perhaps due to the lower value of these auxiliary evolution materials, Su Ran managed to find all of them on the exchange list. But the problem still exists, that is, there are not enough Beast Master points. It takes 260 Beast Master points to exchange all 4 auxiliary materials. Even if Su Ran uses all his points, he is still short by 110 points. Who would have thought that the Beast Master points, which weren't much of a concern before, are so scarce when they're really needed? Su Ran sighed helplessly. Forget it, after all, it's not like Xion needs to evolve right now. These 4 auxiliary resources are all in abundant stock. As long as there are enough points, they can be exchanged at any time. As for the other 2 main materials that can't be exchanged, his mind suddenly came up with the Universal Beast Master Forum. He had previously seen some posts about seeking resources on there. He could totally post an inquiry about the whereabouts of these 2 main materials. Offering a bounty for the Heart of the Thunder Stone and Power Bone Dust, compensations are exchanged for any clue on the whereabouts of these 2 resources. As soon as the post was published, like before, there was an influx of replies. However, this time, Su Ran did not see any useful information right away. After waiting for a while, he momentarily set aside his cell phone and looked at Xion, who was full of anticipation. I have already redeemed the Thunder Attribute King Stage Blood Essence. We are short of some points for other auxiliary resources. I will think of another way. As for the other 2 main materials, I'm looking into it for you too. Okay. Having secured one of the materials for evolution, Xion was already quite satisfied. So now, let's go down to the basement to see what your step on electric traces is like. Su Ran's face lit up with anticipation. What would be the result of the fusion of electric pursue and shadow return? Zilulu, I want to go too. Driven by the power increase from the skill points, Star currently felt an itch in its hoofs and must get moving. The 6-hour training area time for the day was already used up, so he could only run around in the living area in the basement that belonged to it. All right. Su Ran smiled, then together with his 2 pet beasts, he headed straight for the foster area. Star scattered its hoofs and quickly disappeared into its darkness. Su Ran, on the other hand, used the foster area's control hub to temporarily create a thunder environment for Xion. Come on, let's test out the effects of step on electric traces. Watch me. Xion's eyes swiftly became sharp. Crackle. Accompanied by a piercing sound that broke through the air, a large amount of electric light erupted from around Xion. Its body almost completely transformed into Thunderbolt. With a single step, it had already appeared tens of meters away, leaving behind a clone made up of gathered thunder where it was. Like a king harnessing thunder, Xion ran freely in the thunder region, multiple clones of lightning, encapsulating its graceful movement across various areas in the scene. Then Xion vanished in a flash. At the same time, one of the thunder clones materialized, moving 1 step at a time, fluidly replacing the shadow with Xion without making a sound. It seemed the new skill, Step on Electric Traces, had fully inherited the effects of shadow return. Su Ran nodded in satisfaction. Apart from that, Step on Electric Traces was significantly stronger than Electric Pursue in terms of speed. Moreover, his gaze shifted toward the remaining clones at the original place, contemplation appearing on his face. Shadow Return's clones don't have any energy. A little attack and they would be completely shattered and dispersed, the user unable to return to their original position. But he could sense a palpable, thrilling power from the clones of thunder left behind by Xion. If these were attacked, they definitely wouldn't simply disperse right. He bent over, picked a stone up from the ground and threw it towards one of the clones. Boom! In a terrifying thunderous sound, the shadow of thunder was detonated instantaneously. The horrifying sparks covered everything within a radius of tens of meters in a moment. By the time the electricity dissipated, there was a semi-spherical crater left on the ground, arcs of electricity leaping across its surface. Su Ran's eyes lit up. These clones of thunder were capable of counterattacking. If these clones were left to dissipate naturally, that would be one thing. But if attacked deliberately, they would directly detonate the thunder clones, causing an area of damage. Although this area damage was not as powerful as thunder shake heavenly sound, it was an outstanding additional effect of a movement skill. Xylulu tilde. Hearing the rumble from the other side, Star turned its head to look over from the darkness towards the direction of Su-Ran and Xian. They were trying out Big Sister's new skill, huh? It didn't seem simple from the sound of it. It looked around at its familiar surroundings, lightly scratched a clear 959 onto a big rock with its hoofs, and then nodded in satisfaction. All right, it could go find them now. Chapter 140, 105, The Whereabouts of Power Bone Dust. Star is here. How does the increased power feel? Seeing Star hastening towards him, Su-Ran asked with a smile. Xylulu, very good. Star nodded seriously. After the upgrade, its strength increased by almost twofold. All skill operations were more effortless, and the speed after the night song was also noticeably faster. If it had attack skills, the feeling would be even more apparent. As long as you're satisfied, Su-Ran nodded, the experiment with Xian's new skill has ended. The effect of the step on electric traces skill is efficient. It is indeed a 3-star skill. Next, I'll go upstairs to continue with the shop business, and you too. Just as Su-Ran was about to tell the two pet beasts to entertain themselves, a call arrived unexpectedly and interrupted him. After picking up the phone, the straightforward speech on the other end made his expression serious. You need power bone dust. I can provide a clue, but I need a clue fee of 50,000. To make it easier for beast masters who had clues or were selling resources to find him, Su-Ran had left his contact information in the post. He didn't expect there to be a lead so quickly. Sure, no problem, come to the Starfair foster care shop. Once he received the reply that the other party would arrive in a few minutes, Su-Ran hung up the phone and looked at the two little ones. You both come with me. It seems like we have a clue on power bone dust. It is necessary to be wary of others. He was still unsure about the origins of the visitor, and he felt safer with the two pet beasts by his side. Meow already got a clue. A look of surprise crossed Xian's face. Power bone dust, it's one of the main materials for evolution. Xylulu, no problem. Star neighed. For his elder sister's evolution, it also wanted to contribute. After all, once Big Sister evolved successfully, she could start paying back her debts sooner. The one person and two pets went back upstairs. Not long after opening the shop door, a man wearing a mask and sunglasses strode into the shop. Are you the one providing the clue? Seeing the visitor appearing mysteriously, Su-Ran stood up. Yes, that's me. The man lowered his voice and nodded. I have a clue on power bone dust. He glanced at the cautious Star and Xian and then softened his voice a bit. To show my sincerity, I can tell you the clue first, but you must pay me. No problem. Su-Ran gave Star and Xian a look, then gestured for the man to continue. Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion possesses a secret formula to foster combat system pet beasts. This formula offers significant help to combat system pet beasts. The man's voice lowered slightly. One of the materials in this secret formula is power bone dust. So, Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion has a special way of getting power bone dust and should still have stock of this resource. A resource of the secret formula. Su-Ran's face grew thoughtful. Now he understood why the man in front of him was acting so secretive. This matter involved a part of the secrets of Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion. The man was probably worried about causing trouble if Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion found out about it. Speaking of which, why does the name Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion sound familiar? A figure wearing the same headband as a pet beast suddenly surfaced in Su-Ran's mind. Oh, I remember. Wasn't Liu Guang from the previous challenge matched the air of Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion? I've had dealings with him before. I can use that as an excuse to pay a visit to them. This plan is feasible. My clue fee. The man became somewhat anxious when Su-Ran had not responded after he'd given the clue. Sorry, I was just thinking. Su-Ran stared attentively at the man, then slowly said after a few seconds, I hope there's no problem with your clue, otherwise I won't be easily convinced to pay you. After a slightly threatening comment, Su-Ran scanned the code and sent 50,000 to the man. Power bone dust is so cherished. Paying a clue fee of 50,000 is quite reasonable. Don't worry, the clue is absolutely true. After getting the money, the man breathed a sigh of relief. He left without saying another word, exiting the Starfare foster care shop. You both heard it. Once the man was gone, Sue Ran turned to the two pet beasts, looking forward to seeing him. It looks like we'll have to temporarily close the shop. We're going to the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion now. 24 Donghua Road, we're here. Seeing the ancient style of the shop in front of him with the words, Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion, written on the signboard, and the bamboo grove visible within taller than the surrounding wall, Sue Ran dismounted from Star's back. Meow Tilda, is this the place? Xian lightly landed from Star's back and stared at the half-open door of the martial arts pavilion, feeling the urge to charge in. I'll go first to ask. Sue Ran patted Xian's head to soothe her restlessness, then quickened his pace to the entrance of the martial arts pavilion. After spotting figures moving inside through the half-open door, he gently knocked on the door. Creak Tilda. The door was quickly opened from inside, and a youth in a martial arts uniform with short hair briskly walked out. A familiar beast, combat bear apprentice, followed him. This beast and human duo weren't wearing identical headbands like Liu Guang, but they both had similar wrist guards on their wrists. This really is the tradition of Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion. Sue Ran muttered a complaint in his heart, then brightened his smile. Hello, I'm here to find Liu Guang. Is he here? Chapter 141-105 The Whereabouts of Power Bone Dust. It's you. The boy must have recognized Sue Ran through the footage of the new Beast Master Challenge. He stepped back, swindler. That was a complete misunderstanding. Sue Ran said with sincerity, I'm just an honest businessman. But that's what the forum says about you. The boy looked at Sue Ran with suspicion. He glanced at the Xian and the starlight behind Sue Ran, first showing surprise and then a bit of confusion. How did you know that Senior Liu Guang's contract power had just broken through to the second stage? Sue Ran, I had no idea. Few Tilda. In a quiet room of the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion, Liu Guang slowly opened his eyes. A faint yellow halo flashed across his eyes and disappeared. Looking at the brawl bear apprentice sitting cross-legged in front of him, its body was several times larger than before, and its muscular figure was full of power. A smile appeared on Liu Guang's face. We finally broke through. Huh? The brawl bear apprentice nodded earnestly, swung its fists twice in the air, and enjoying the strong power that was far greater than before, its expression became excited. Now it could easily crush the dark scale dragon. Indeed, the words of the Beast Master were right. One should not care about temporary victories or losses. As long as the power level crushes the opponent, any enemy could be easily dealt with. All right, now we're going to welcome a new partner. Liu Guang's voice carried a hint of anticipation. Contracted with his second pet beast, with 2 elite-level pet beasts, his strength would reach a new high. The other 3 who were competing with him would be effortlessly stepped on by him. As the heir to the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion, Liu Guang naturally had extra resources to nurture his second pet beast in advance. Even before the contract, the second pet beast had already reached the full-skilled Starlight level and successfully broken through to the elite stage. Hence, all he needed was to make a contract, and he would immediately reach his peak strength. Come on, vigorously, Beetle. Liu Guang gave a low shout, and the partition door of the quiet room was opened. A bug-like pet beast that looked like a single horn but stood upright on 2 legs, its 4 claws exceptionally muscular, and the height of a person, walked slowly into the quiet room. It was a fighting attribute pet beast, vigorously Beetle. His Tilda. It had been in harmony with Liu Guang and the brawl bear apprentice for a long time. There was no resistance in the contract ceremony, and it easily made the contract with Liu Guang. Feeling the feedback from the vigorously Beetle which came with the contract, a bright smile appeared on Liu Guang's face. Now, even if he didn't let his pet beast take action, relying solely on his own power, he should be able to beat the Transcendent Stage pet beasts, right? Indeed, there was no comparison between the Elite Stage and the Transcendent Stage. Let's go, it's time to share the good news of the breakthrough with everyone in the Martial Arts Pavilion. Liu Guang, with a relaxed smile, opened the door of the quiet room and walked out with the 2 pet beasts. Bad news, brother Liu Guang, the swindler has come to confront you. Huh? Seeing the anxious Ajay, who usually adored him, Liu Guang's smile stiffened slightly. A swindler, what does he mean by confronting us? Senior, that little brother Ajay really misunderstood me. In the bamboo leaf martial arts pavilion's reception room, Su Ran shook his head helplessly. I didn't know that Brother Liu Guang was going to break through today. Otherwise, I would have chosen to visit another day. Come, have some tea first. Liu Hong, the current master of the bamboo leaf martial arts pavilion, wearing a loose robe, laughed and handed Su Ran a cup of tea. I watched the previous challenge match too. Your strength is impressive. It certainly gave Liu Guang a wake-up call. Unexpectedly, your contract power has also advanced to the second stage. After taking a look at the two pet beasts behind Su Ran, Liu Hong laughs. It seems you were not far from a breakthrough when you participated in the competition. I suppose so, said Su Ran with an awkward smile. He didn't know how things had somehow developed into this situation. The young Ajay who answered the door didn't listen to his explanation at all. He insisted that Su Ran knew in advance that Liu Guang was going to break through, so he came to challenge him. Challenging the heir of a martial arts pavilion is not a simple matter for the bamboo leaf martial arts pavilion. From a broader perspective, this is called a challenge match. Following Ajay's outburst, Liu Hong, who was at the martial arts pavilion, appeared swiftly. He first invited Su Ran to the guest room, then asked Ajay to inform Liu Guang in his meditation room to come over the moment he achieved his breakthrough. You just said that you didn't know Liu Guang was going to break through today. It was a coincidence. Liu Hong lightly sipped his tea and chuckled. Ajay is young and excitable. He probably misunderstood things. Yes, it was a misunderstanding. Su Ran nodded quickly, feeling relieved. Xian and Star behind him showed innocent faces. After all, there was a terrifying leadership stage combat, Bear sitting behind Liu Hong. If he were to think that they came to challenge, it wouldn't be easy to leave the bamboo leaf martial arts pavilion. So what brings you here, young Master Su? Liu Hong began with a friendly tone. Even though he had a sturdy figure, he gave off a warm impression when he smiled. Actually, I came to. Su Ran was about to say he was only visiting Liu Guang, but seeing as the owner of the bamboo leaf martial arts pavilion was already in front of him, there seemed to be no need for such an excuse. He paused, deciding to be straightforward. I was hoping to obtain some power bone dust from here, and I'm willing to offer an above-market price. Whoosh! The atmosphere in the guest room turned stale, as if a cold wind had just swept through. Oh, Liu Hong's smile faded slightly as he looked at Su Ran. Where did you hear that we of the bamboo leaf martial arts pavilion have power bone dust? I heard about it on the Beast Master Forum. Su Ran admitted honestly. I wasn't sure whether it was true or not. I just came to try my luck. I see, Liu Hong nodded slightly. The atmosphere in the guest room warmed up again. Liu Hong slowly sipped his tea, never mentioning the power bone dust. Su Ran, are you here to challenge me? A familiar voice called out from the entrance. Liu Guang, full of fighting spirit, strode into the room. From his junior brother Ajay, Liu Guang learned that Su Ran had also advanced to the second stage contract power and contracted a second pet beast. Now, Su Ran was visiting him, presumably challenging him. Far from being intimidated, he was filled with an eager desire to fight. This was his chance for redemption. Although he had never fought Su Ran before, Su Ran had defeated Gu Ling, who had defeated him. Therefore, defeating Su Ran was, more or less, the same as defeating Gu Ling of the same stage. He was so confident because his combat bear apprentice had stayed at the perfect state of the transcendent stage for a full year. When a pet beast is about to advance, staying at the perfect state of the previous growth stage might not increase their power, but their energy will accumulate and explode during the breakthrough. The full year of accumulation brought the combat bear apprentice to an appreciable level of power, just entering the elite stage. This time he will not lose. You misunderstood. Seeing Ajay, who was peeping from behind Liu Guang at the door, Su Ran's lips twitched a little. All because of this kid's nonsensical assertion. Actually, the reason I'm here is... Su Ran was about to explain his purpose when Liu Hong, who had been silent all this time, unexpectedly interrupted him. Indeed, young Master Su came here to contest with you. Liu Hong put down his teacup slowly, looking at Liu Guang with a burning gaze. As the one who only got third place in the challenge match, do you dare to accept? I dare. Liu Guang clenched his fists, his eyes burning with the fire of fighting spirit. He stood up straight like a javelin and shouted, We, the people of the bamboo leaf martial arts pavilion, never admit defeat. We are always ready to fight. Good. Liu Hong laughed heartily with an expression of gratification on his face. That's my son. Seeing the impassioned Liu Guang, Su Ran's lips twitched a little. Wait, aren't you two supposed to ask for my opinion before you start your pep talk? Isn't this a bit too rash? Thump. Liu Hong took out a small wooden box from his pocket and slammed it on the table. This piece of power bone dust will serve as the stake for your fight. Deal. Su Ran stood up abruptly, his voice even louder than Liu Guang's just now. So what if it's rash? I just love how rash you are. Chapter 142, 106, A Meow Determines the Universe. Additional Update 210, for the Silver Alliance Warm Sun 1314. The battle is about to begin. At the center of the super-large battle platform prepared for elites-level pet beasts, Liu Hong, who temporarily serves as the referee, stands with his hands behind his back, speaking aloud. As a leadership-level beast master, Liu Hong has received substantial power feedback from pet beasts that boosts his personal strength to a level not inferior to elite-level pet beasts. Without the need for any amplifying device, his muffled, thunderous voice reaches everyone's ears. This everyone refers to Su Ran and Liu Guang, who are located on both sides of the arena and are about to confront each other, as well as the young men and women dressed in martial attire who are surrounding the battlefield. The bamboo leaf symbol on their chests and the chants of "Go, brother Liu Guang," make it clear that things are not as simple as they seem. Having a match away from home really is awkward. Su Ran shakes his head helplessly, then looks at Xian and Star on both sides of him. We must win this battle. Meow tilde, we must win. Xian's eyes show an unprecedented desire to fight. Even when it was facing the dark scale dragon before, it didn't have such a strong desire to win. The stakes are high, the power bone dust is on the line. If it wins this battle, it can obtain a main evolution material without spending a single value point. It can prevent his already poor family from suffering an additional blow. So it must win this battle. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. Zilulu, cheer up. Star lets out a cry. A flame of battle intention flickers in his purple eyes. What does its big sister getting a piece of resource for free mean? It means it can borrow less money. So for Star, winning this battle is also very important. And what's more, since signing a contract with Su Ran, it has not yet experienced a real battle. The previous race with the Frost Dust Wolf doesn't count. So this is Star's first battle after awakening as a transcendent being. It must perform well. This battle is a rule-free battle. Liu Hong's eyes look at Su Ran and Liu Guang, and he speaks in a deep voice. Beast masters and all pet beasts can use any method to attack the opponent, but cannot use power that does not belong to themselves. This has always been the rules of combat in the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion. Beast masters have weaker physical bodies compared to pet beasts, but they should also strive to become stronger and not drag their pet beasts down. Treat every battle as a real fight. In a fight, the enemy will not spare you because the beast master is weak. The words that follow are more of an explanation to Su Ran. It's not that these rules are designed to target him. It would be the same for anyone who comes. But Liu Hong did not notice that, after hearing the rules, the eyes of Su Ran and his two pet beasts were shining brighter and brighter. Such a rule-free battle, excellent. This implies that Star can make the most of its powers. Who cares if it doesn't have any attack skills? As long as it can enhance Xian to standing up against two opponents, they can still win this battle. And Liu Guang on the other side certainly has no objections to these competition rules. In the martial arts pavilion, this is how he has been dueling since he was a child. Furthermore, this rule of combat clearly works in favor of Liu Guang, who has martial arts skills at his disposal. Countdown to 5, the battle will officially begin. Seeing that both of them have no objections, Liu Hong nods slightly and then his voice lengthens, 5. At the same time as the countdown, a trace of thought appears in Liu Hong's eyes. He watched Liu Guang's miserable defeat in the new Beast Master Challenge match. Although Liu Guang didn't say much after the competition ended and he returned home, he wholeheartedly focused on meditation. His hope was to break through to the second stage of contract power as quickly as possible, thereby enhancing his strength. But a father knows his son best, and Liu Hong knew that Liu Guang had been left with a burr in his heart from that battle. The way to remove this burr was not to reach a higher level and leave behind former opponents, but to defeat the one who once defeated him on the same stage. However, the girl who had defeated Liu Guang was only a freshman high school student. It would probably take her several years to break through to the second stage of contract power. Just as Liu Hong was secretly worried for his son, fearing that this burr would never be resolved and affect his son's state of mind, Su Ran appeared. The fact that he defeated Gu Ling made him qualified to replace Gu Ling and become the key to unlock his son's burr. So when Liu Hong learned that Su Ran had not come specifically to challenge Liu Guang, his heart felt a bit disappointed. Just as he was thinking about how to make these two fight one another, Su Ran revealed his intentions. Power Bone Dust is a rather important resource for the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion. However, in actual fact, this resource isn't as scarce within the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion as it is outside. This is because the ancestors of the Liu family discovered a secret location outside the city that can continuously yield power bone dust. Every generation of masters at the Martial Pavilion has the coordinates of this secret location. Offering power bone dust as a stake doesn't mean much to Liu Hong. In his eyes, releasing his son's burr is much more important than a mere piece of power bone dust. As for the possibility that Su Ran winning would give his son a new burr, Liu Hong had not considered it at all. The reason is simple. On one hand, Liu Guang's Brawl Bear apprentice has been suppressing its power for over a year, and it will experience a surge in strength the moment it evolves. Su Ran, who also recently broke through, surely could not compare in terms of his pet beast's strength. On the other hand, the vigorous beetle, Liu Guang's second pet beast who just completed his contract, was personally coached by Liu Hong. There is a difference in proficiency even within the starlight level. This vigorous beetle is not far from the waning moon level with several skills, and its strength has already broken through the elite level early because it was not restricted by the contract. Chapter 143, 106, A Meow Decides the Universe. It was even stronger than the Brawl Bear apprentice. Although Su Ran also had a second pet beast of elite level, Liu Hong could tell at a glance that the horse-type pet beast was newly advanced to the elite level. Therefore, there was no reason why his son should lose this fight. In Liu Hong's thoughts, the countdown was already nearing its end. 1. Begin. As Liu Hong's voice echoed, the two opponents both started to move. Go Brawl Bear apprentice, vigorously beetle. Liu Guang bellowed, his legs suddenly exerting power as he charged swiftly towards Su Ran. His strength, rivaling that of a transcendent stage pet beast, pushed his speed beyond normal human limits. The wind whipped up by his running, and the billowing of his clothes made for a breathtaking spectacle. What was faster than Liu Guang, however, were his two pet beasts. The Brawl Bear apprentice, despite its substantially larger body, displayed agility that defied its size. Its claws, capable of smashing rocks, were held behind its back as it surged forward, its alternating action of kicking off the ground almost creating afterimages. 2-star skill, Starlight level free step. A 2-star skill employed by an elite-level bear showed way more strength than an ordinary transcendent stage bear, not only increasing speed, but also displaying an evasive finesse. Despite its apparent full-out run, it left no doubt in anyone's mind that the bear could easily dodge any attack that came its way, thanks to its body's flexibility. The Brawl Bear apprentice, in comparison to the freshly contracted vigorously beetle of Liu Guang, was a tad slower. The hardy beetle, almost the size of a man, with each step would leave deep indentations on the combat stand, which was so sturdy that even an ordinary elite pet beast had difficulty damaging it. Each step caused the beetle to disappear, only to reappear tens of meters ahead. 2-star skill, Starlight level blink step. This skill, acknowledged as the fastest among 2-stars fighting skills, seemed effortless when executed by the vigorously beetle. Had it not been necessary to keep pace with the Brawl Bear apprentice to maintain coordination, it could possibly go even faster. While closing rapidly with Su Ran and his two beasts, the Brawl Bear apprentice and the vigorously beetle unleashed the full might of their elite-level status, bearing down on Su Ran. The several hundred-meter battlefield could not dispel the fierce determination to fight radiating from the two beasts. They really are formidable. Watching the menacing arrival of the two beasts, Su Ran clicked his tongue before quickly jumping onto the wide back of Star. Well then, let's get serious too. Zai-Lu-Lu. Star emitted a war cry brimming with fighting spirit, and as it raised its front hooves, a purple energy quickly gathered on its back to form a saddle beneath Su Ran's crotch. At the same time, A pair of reins made of condensed energy hung in the air, awaiting Su-Ran's hands to grip them firmly. Boom! As Su-Ran firmly gripped the reins without hesitation, the power of Star intertwined with Su-Ran's own power in an instant to form an even greater power. 2-star skill, Starlight level Star Chain. As Su-Ran had initially anticipated with Star's advancement, the Star Chain that linked the one person and one pet wasn't just augmenting Star with Su-Ran's power, but quite the contrary, adding to Su-Ran with Star's power. Feeling the immense power pouring into his body, Su-Ran let out an exhilarating roar. Fight! Ding! Star's raised hooves landed heavily on the ground. Wrapped in its most powerful state due to having completed the Star Chain, it rippled a dark wave through the earth beneath it. That ripple passed through Xian, who was close at hand, transforming instantly into a dark light film that enveloped her, not interfering with her combat in the slightest. Xian's momentum soared in that moment. 2-star skill, Starlight level Twilight Watch. There was a time when Star, still at the transcendental stage, and using the Stardust level Twilight Watch, could visibly enhance the strength of the elite-leveled Xian. The Star of today had already gone beyond the transcendent stage. Twilight Watch had even advanced to the Starlight level. Under this enhancement, Xian's might almost increased by 50% in an instant, reaching a level that caused both the incoming Brawl Bear apprentice and vigorously Beetle to flinch in surprise. What? Liu Guang's pupils dilated sharply, his face manifesting disbelief. What was happening? Originally, Su-Ran's pet beast was clearly a notch weaker than his two beasts. Why had it gained so much strength in just a blink of an eye? Why is it that Su-Ran, sitting on the back of another pet beast, seemed to have his aura and the pet beast's aura merged into one? Displaying the same serious expression was Liu Hong, who retreated to the side of the competition field. He instantly recognized that the pet beast ridden by Su-Ran was an extremely rare auxiliary-type pet beast, and that's why it could enhance another pet beast, making its momentum surpass his carefully trained two pet beasts. However, such an auxiliary-type pet beast usually does not have attack-type skills. Therefore, the pet beast augmented by Su-Ran needed to face two opponents simultaneously. One-on-one, his two pet beasts might indeed not necessarily be its opponents. But 2 against 1. It's not good enough, Liu Hong murmured under his breath, his expression still confident. The ultimate victory in this battle would definitely be Liu Guang's. Just as Liu Hong had this thought, Su-Ran, who was in the field holding the reins and riding on Star, suddenly let out a loud shout. Xian! Holding the reins in one hand, he pointed in the direction of Liu Guang's two pet beasts. You've been enhanced, defeat them. Zila. In response to him was Xian, whose momentum ascended to the peak, and the terrifying electric light that suddenly burst around her. The purple halo quietly rose to every part of her body. Under her strong body that was almost completely energized, was an awful power like a potential flood about to burst. Electric arcs danced and wriggled over the ground under Xian's feet, occasionally piercing through the air, like a purple thunder snake wildly dancing in the void. In just a blink, Xian appeared in between the two pet beasts, leaving only an illusion formed by the gathering of thunder and lightning in place. Then, before the Brawl Bear apprentice and vigorously Beetle could react, a voice full of authority fell like divine words from the sky. Meow! Purple lightning appeared out of nowhere, instantly encompassing everything within 100 meters of Xian. Tiny arcs of electricity gathering even more, until finally twisted together in the void, transforming into a terrifying thunderstorm that covered everything in sight. The disciples from Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion who were watching the battle all lost their voices, staring wide-eyed and tongue-tied at this terrifying scene. Liu Hong's expression changed instantly, displaying disbelief. What is this? Is it a 2-star skill at waning moon level? No, even a 2-star skill at waning moon level would hardly have such terrifying power. Could it be 3? No, absolutely impossible. Looking at the sea of thunder occupying his vision, Liu Hong's expression changed continuously, and in the end, only one voice echoed in his mind. How is it possible? La. The purple sea of thunder dissipated. The air was still filled with a strong burnt smell, occasionally an electric arc passing by in the void. The ground was even filled with tiny electric arcs continuously hopping. Two blackened figures hardly recognizable were lying on the ground, having completely lost their combat capabilities and consciousness in the blow just now. Within the sea of thunder, Xian could no longer be seen. Meow tilde, the power bone dust is mine. The thunder and lightning illusion frozen in place suddenly began to move as if it had come alive. Its elemental body gradually returned to its original form. Xian, sitting on the ground, licked her paw. Her demeanor was graceful and composed. One strike. With just one strike, two pet beasts of the same level were down. Liu Guang, who was a step too slow, sat helplessly on the ground, clutching his chest in pain, showing an expression of utter despair. He was deliberately spared by Xian and hence was not swept into the sea of thunder. This time, the blow he received was even greater than when the dark scale dragon defeated Brawl Bear Apprentice. The inheritor of Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion, a small-time famous beast master in Qingzhou City. Was he defeated in an instant? Chapter 144, 107 B-level plucking fur. So this is power bone dust. While sitting on Star's back, Su Ran pulled out a half-palm-sized, antique-looking wooden box, his face filled with curiosity. Even without opening it, he could feel the strong energy fluctuations inside through the wooden box, and the hefty feel it gave a visually impressive sense of worthiness. When Liu Guang was defeated, the color on Liu Hong's face visibly darkened. However, he kept his word. As per the agreement before the match, he handed the power bone dust, which was offered as a stake, to Su Ran. Looking at the still bewildered Liu Guang, the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion disciples with hostility on their faces, and Liu Hong who held a sour look, Su Ran knew he had overstayed his welcome. Leaving behind a comment, "Welcome everyone to bring their pet beasts to Starfair Foster Care Shop," Su Ran decisively bid farewell. Meow tilde, let me see it right now. Xian, lying in front of Su Ran, had a touch of urgency in his eyes. He couldn't help turning his head, wanting to see the spoils of war he had just won. Even Star turned his head in the middle of the run. Let's take a look together. Su Ran chuckled lightly, gesturing for Star to stop first before carefully opening the wooden box in his hand. What appeared to the eyes was a spoonful of powder. But these powdered particles, each one was as clear as a diamond, shimmering with a peculiar sheen under the sunlight. Not only that, they had a great density. Su Ran grabbed a few lightly and found that each grain weighing at least 1 gram, each piece smaller than table salt, and even the wind couldn't blow them away easily. As expected of an evolutionary material, it looked simple yet complex. After a careful look, Su Ran nodded in satisfaction. It said that power bone dust is scraped from the bones of powerful fallen transcendent beings of certain fighting attributes. Just a pinch of bone dust is this powerful. I wonder how formidable those transcendent beings must be. Meow tilde, we will be that strong too. Hearing Su Ran's words, Xian's eyes were filled with longing. He was not far from evolution. Once the evolution was completed, he would become a king species pet beast, level capped at the king stage. His gap with such powerful beings would be one step closer. Xilu, hope I can evolve soon too. Star neighed loudly, with the same expectation in his eyes. Although his evolution was still quite distant, through Xian's one, he could imagine that his own evolution would not be easy. He hopes for the day to come soon, so he could counterborrow money from Big Sis. All right, I'll keep this power bone dust for Xian. Su Ran closed the wooden box and carefully put it in his arms. Now it's time to get back to the shop. Star let out a neigh and set off again, attracting onlookers along the way. Before reaching the Starfair Foster, Su Ran saw 2 familiar figures standing at the shop door, one person and one pet. Meow, it's the dark scale dragon. Xian recognized its old foe immediately. After defeating the dark scale dragon, Xian's mentality has become calm, and it no longer gets agitated every time they meet. After all, it was now a powerful elite-level pet beast, and the dark scale dragon was still at the transcendent stage. Every time it thought of this, Xian would feel a little proud. Guling, are you here for the washing and caring service for dark scale dragon? Arriving at the shop entrance, Su Ran dismounted and asked with a smile. Boss Su, is this your second contracted pet? Gu Ling didn't answer Su Ran's question. As soon as Su Ran showed up, she was captivated by the magnificent star. And the dark scale dragon growled softly, looking toward Star with a sense of familiarity. It recognized at a glance that the big guy in front of it, taller than itself, was also a dark attribute pet beast. All dark attributed are one family. Indeed, this is my second pet, Star. Su Ran stroked Star's slender mane for a brief introduction, then opened the shop door. Gu Ling then remembered Su Ran's initial question. I came for the washing and caring service this time, and I also want to try the accompanying training service. Zai Xiao said it's effective. No problem. Su Ran nodded, suddenly thought of something, his face filled with anticipation. By the way, I had mentioned before hoping that Senior Gu could come for a washing and care. We already have washing and caring services for super large-sized pet beasts in the shop now, but I didn't keep Senior Gu's contact. It would be great if you could help me inform him when you go back. Sure. Gu Ling walked into the shop as she casually agreed. The next second, her eyes fell on the price of washing and caring for super large-sized pet beasts. 266,666 yuan per session. Realizing that old Gu's 4 pet beasts at home were all super large-sized pet beasts, Gu Ling went silent for a moment. The total cost for the 4 pet beasts was over 1,000,000 yuan, right? From Boss Su's tone, he wanted to thank old Gu for saving him earlier and offered to wash and care his pet beasts for free. This was not a small sum of money. Oh well, she was just the messenger. She'd let old Gu decide for himself. Seeing Gu Ling agree, a huge weight lifted from Su Ran's heart. After the system got updated, and now having the ability to wash and care for super large-sized pet beasts, he has been keeping in mind his previous promise. He originally wanted to ask Su Xiaoxiao to help relay his invitation, but felt the method was too casual, and it's better to personally speak to Gu Ling face to face. Thank you, let's start by washing and caring for Dark Scale Dragon. He patted the dark armor-like sturdy body of the Dark Scale Dragon. The shop's washing and care services have upgraded. I think you'll like it.